The college football experience, week 5, 2023 draft and preview edition episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Shady Rays. Shady Rays and SGPN are teaming up for Shady May. Get 50% off Shady Rays using the promo code SGPN and then go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win $500. We're also brought to you by our Kentucky Derby contest. Yes, winner gets a $100 SGPN gift card exclusively on the SGPN app. So grab that thing today, which is free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride. Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome. Welcome to the college football experience. Week 5, 2023 preview and draft. It's been a little bit, folks. Oh, man, I cannot wait to talk about the news that's occurred in the past 10 days. We haven't really been – I was traveling. But before we get to all that, maybe you're wondering just who the hell you're listening to. Well, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Rum Dundee. All right, that's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
I'm dying in this fucking country ass. Fuck that fuck. It's flying in my mouth. The fuck. I can't see pollen. Let's get the fuck out of this country, mother.
Oh, yes. We are here to talk college football. If you're watching on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. Subscribe, tell a friend. You're going to see your boy Pick Dundee, Run, a.k.a. Run Dundee. Well, I think NC Nick's screen might be a little frozen, but Rum Dundee looking like June Jones back in the Colt Brennan era. Rest in peace. With my tropical shirt on.
Yeah, you were missing the lay, but I guess that's specifically a Hawaii thing. But you're down in the tropics for sure.
So
you said you got parrots flying around and shit.
Parrots got everything. NC Nick, are you still with us right now?
I can hear you guys, but I can't see anything. Can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you.
We hear you, but we don't see you. That's the way most people prefer it. Look, I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi.
Let's go. Let's go, baby. We got a lot to talk about. Let's go. And NC Nick just dropped off.
We'll give him his proper intro when he comes back.
I'd like to take the time to shit on him and his internet connection because I'm in fucking South America right now, folks. And
the Amazon rainforest over here.
I'm in the middle of the rainforest, and I'm getting better reception than this North Carolina, NC State / Duke fan. What kind of shit is that? He gave away his top 10.
Triangle my ass.
Yeah. Right. How about they research some fucking internet? All right, I've been saying that for decades. But here we are, buddy. I know NC Nick will probably be back with us. But how you been, buddy? We got a lot to talk about in the college football world.
I mean, life is crazy. You're on the other side of the planet, and we're still talking college football. That's what it's all about.
That's what I'm saying, man. I was on my flight. I was in Bogota for a day, and then I hopped down on the next flight, and I was on the flight. No one was speaking English, but I still asked them what they thought of the Tulsa hire. Kevin Wilson, former Indiana head coach. I said, well, what do you guys make of this? You guys think Golden Hurricane got a chance this year or not? And we had another Cerveza, and they said, yeah, they think the Golden Hurricane are playing ball right now.
So when are we gonna have the college experience Deportes?
We need I'm working on that. But we got a lot of news, man, and I was trying to derail this thing to see when NC Nick is gonna be back around. I'll tell you this. How about we just hop right into this? I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Shady Rays and Shady May. Yes, Shady Rays is teaming up with SGPN for Shady May. Not only do you get an amazing 50% off, but you also get a chance to win $500. Shady Rays has you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and much, much more. Shady Rays has durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. Yeah, that means if you happen to be in the Amazon rainforest like Pick Dundee over here, Rum Dundee, and, you got your glasses on and out of nowhere, a fucking anaconda tries to bite you, right? Or something like that, right? One of these snakes that I don't know the names of that are like bright green, and it gets your glasses, misses your eye, gets your glasses, rips your glasses down, takes it off because it thinks the glasses is, a living, breathing creature. And your glasses are gone. Guess what? Then I say, hey, Shady Rays, look, a venomous snake attacked me, and thank God they took down your glasses. Oh, we didn't even need the story, sir. Here's your pair of Shady Rays that you had lost. Or whether you want to say broken or lost. In that case, might be both. That is what they bring to the table. All right. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, folks, they're going to send you a new pair. No questions asked. You can wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. Go to ShadyRays.com. Use that promo code SGPN for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Then, if you're real swift, you're going to take that receipt, that sweet receipt, as I was trying to say, over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win $500 in our Shady May contest. That's all you really have to do is show that good stuff. So do that. And remember, as always, to let it ride.
You know what I'm thinking here?
Yeah.
Romancing the Stone. Have you seen that one?
I have.
That's
Michael Douglas.
Columbia.
Right? Yeah.
Are you the Stone? Are you Michael Douglas? Are you the hard ass that needs to be like, is she seducing you away from your manliness and like trying to tenderize you?
Perhaps. I like to think of myself as the villain in Commando who throws that pipe. They're in this country called Valverde, which is, I don't believe, a real country. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that was Colombia. And, I'm Bennett, who throws a steaming pipe. I guess actually he had a pipe thrown through him by Schwarzenegger. But
you just want to wear the chainmail. You want the chainmail vest.
Yeah, I do want the chainmail vest. I also want to be dead tired on an airplane. Shout out to third man in the booth. He's back. Give it up for the DFS god himself. The rooftop IPA drinking, home brew making, computer freeze taking, NC Nick in the place to be.
There we go, guys. Hey, apparently the Cinco de Mayo margaritas are taking a toll on me because I'm having technical difficulties, but I think I'm good now.
That's part of the fun. Part of the fun that we do this show, especially our South American edition. Let's hop into some of this news here. Before we get to our draft, folks, and if you haven't been with us before for our draft, we go through and basically pick the top 30 games for each and every week. We already have week 0 to week 4 completed. Go listen to those episodes. We also graded every coach in the offseason, talk about the transfer portal winners and losers. So go check out those episodes. But before we get to all that, I want to talk a little bit about the portal. It's always given. It's always taken. Wow. Peyton Thorne, one of many Michigan State players to leave over the past week, including starting wideout TJ Finley and a few others. Peyton Thorne, though, already committed to Auburn. So here the mighty SEC coming in and paying top dollar for a starting Big Ten quarterback. What do you guys make of this get? And should we start talking about Michigan State being terrible this year? Nick?
The timing is funny. And my wife went to Michigan State. I follow some people that are close to the program, and they're scrambling right now. They don't know what's going on because there was kind of a mass exodus. There was 4 or 5 either starters or people that the team was supposed to rely on pretty heavily. So the timing is strange, and when you lose your quarterback, especially at this point in the off season, I mean, it's 2 years ago. Seems like a long time ago when they won. They win 10 games or something somehow.
I think it was 11. I think they won 11 because they got the full game when he sat out.
Yeah, exactly. So dude, I don't know what's going on in East Lansing, but I think you should be concerned if you're a fan of Sparty for sure.
Well, and it might be a little early to buy him out of that contract because they just re-upped. You might be stuck with old Mel. Thankfully,
they opened up their wallets big time. And, if you listen to us for the last couple of years, we told you that, Michigan State was phony 2 years ago. They weren't a legit double-digit win team. Look, I mean, you congrats. You had a good year, but a lot of smoke and mirrors that year. And for them to just go all in on Mel Tucker at that point, we were like, whoa, are you sure about that? And I hate to say it, but I don't know, man. I mean, look, maybe he can still turn it around. Not a very good season a year ago. They go 5-7, I think, not even make a bowl game. So we'll see, but not looking too good.
Patty C, what do you make? What's that?
Let me say this. Obviously, even the slightest bit of nuance here, paints a different picture than the one I'm about to present to you. But we don't seem that scared about Deion's class completely transferring out. He's lost 60 guys. And
totally
you're still
different.
eternally optimistic about
totally different.
Totally
I don't see how you can draw comparisons between the two.
Look,
we touched on this
a
week ago.
Okay.
We touched on this a week ago.
There's probably going to be, they have a lot to replace. I don't know how much he's brought in, but continuity means something in college football. You can't just throw fucking 85 new dudes together at one time and expect there to be.
You can when you're 1-11.
Well, yeah, you can improve on that. That's true.
When you're 1-11, do whatever you have to do. When you're 5-7, I would say, I would be a little more worried if you're 5-7 because you're like, hey, maybe we could be making a bowl. Maybe we could win some of those close games we lost a year ago.
Yeah.
Right. We talked about this last week. Colorado was over the scholarship limit because of all the people they brought in. So, yes, it made for great headlines. It made for great clickbait that all these players were transferring out. Oh, what's going on? Maybe things in Colorado in Boulder aren't as great as we thought. But no, we knew this was going to happen because they were over the limit because of the amount of players they brought in. So some players had to transfer. So really, it's no comparison to Michigan State where they lost their starting quarterback and several key players, not because they were over the scholarship limit.
How good is Peyton Thorne really? 19 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, 62% completion percent. We are not talking about Tom Brady here.
Well, you're talking about the guy who he started when they had an 11-2 season, and he's good enough. He was good enough that Auburn. I think this was strictly an NIL play. I think he got more money at Auburn.
He's solid. Look, I don't know about his pro career, even though Michigan State seems to pump out solid backup NFL quarterbacks. but he's a solid college quarterback where I would imagine he's better than anything else they have on the roster.
Yeah, no, I think it hurts. I think it does hurt. I think
they also
reasons for concern.
They also lost their starting wideout, who I think was their top returning production-wise. If not, he was second. I can't remember. And a few other key players. It wasn't like they lost the 58th man on the roster. So just interesting to see. Now, let's look at it from the Auburn side of things. They needed a quarterback after spring ball, even though that spring game was in a fucking monsoon. What does Peyton Thorne give them? Does it give them a puncher's chance in the SEC West, NC Nick?
It gives them the opposite of what they have in the returning quarterback, Robbie
Ashford.
Robbie Ashford, who is extremely athletic and very dangerous with his legs, but really struggle throwing the ball. So now they have two opposites. They got two quarterbacks. How they're going to mix that and blend that, I'm not sure. But I think it's a decent get for Auburn. They're still probably a year or two away to really contend. I mean, at least. But I think at this point, it's an interesting fit considering what they have, because I guess it complements each other well.
If anything, if I'm Peyton Thorne, it makes a lot of sense because Hugh Freeze has had successful quarterbacks drafted. So maybe Strip Club Freeze does him a solid.
It might work out really well for all parties involved with as far as Auburn and Peyton Thorne are concerned, because your guys are right that Hugh Freeze is going to open up the passing attack way more than Thorne had experienced at they're a run-based team still under Tucker at Michigan State. And so I feel like that's happened before with Michigan State. They play that conservative style of ball, and then whether it be a quarterback going pro and then starting to really show out, or transferring and starting to show out, I think we may see that. And I think Auburn has a similar complement to Michigan State, and he can hand the ball off when he wants to because they have the horses to make that happen. But if they do open it up, I think he's probably got the skills. I think it'll be a nice look for them, and it probably does hurt Michigan State a little bit.
TJ Finley, who was a guy who started a couple games for Auburn over the years, former LSU transfer, he hit the portal because Thorne's coming in. He's out of here. Ben Bryant, another quarterback that started a lot of games for Cincinnati and Eastern Michigan.
How old is he?
He's 47 years old, and he came out the same year as Steve Grogan, and he lands at Northwestern. Nick.
He transferred again?
Yes, he's been at Cincinnati twice. So he went Cincinnati to Eastern Michigan, back to Cincinnati, and now to Northwestern.
And you're probably asking me because Northwestern has Duke on the schedule early on. And you know what? Let's just say I'm not shaking in my boots because Ben Bryant transferred to Northwestern, okay?
Ben Bryant, baby. A couple years ago, Fitz took Northwestern to the Big Ten championship.
That seems like much longer than Mel Tucker took Michigan State to 10 wins.
Only 1 year.
Both seem like a long time ago for some reason.
Patty C, is Northwestern in better shape now? Can they contend in the Big Ten West?
Yeah, I thought Ben Bryant did a pretty good job last year. Obviously, the Arkansas State, he overthrew 15 touchdowns that would have won Cincinnati that game probably. But other than that, I thought he had a pretty solid year. I think I
was taking the 6 points in that game too, and they screwed me.
Yeah. And Joe Hackney is correct when he says Northwestern hasn't won in America in years. Correct. All right, let's get some more of this news. Casey Thompson's hitting the portal, and he is visiting Florida Atlantic this weekend. I think that'd be a huge get for FAU. Thompson, I thought, looked good at times last year and really the year before at Texas. What do you guys make of Thompson leaving Nebraska? So it's Jeff Sims' gig.
So right now we're seeing players that are transferring now have basically been beaten out in spring ball. I think that's the only way you can see it, but I agree. We know he's a solid quarterback. He's flashed his potential at times at both Nebraska and at Texas. For Florida Atlantic, for a G5 school to pick him up, that'd be a huge get.
Yeah, and to me, Thompson never fit Rhule's scheme to me. I thought he should have transferred even back in January. So
what is Rhule's scheme?
The mobile quarterback that can run, whether it was the kid at Baylor. I think he had Brewer for one of the – no. I don't know, but he had – I know he had a mobile QB at Baylor. Who was his name?
Oh, gosh.
But they also had P.J. Walker at Temple.
P.J. Walker at Temple, yeah.
Yeah.
Thompson had some mobility. I mean, he wasn't a straight burner, but I do think Sims obviously fits that description a little more closely.
Well, Thompson could drop back and throw the ball, fire that laser. He is the guy that did light up Northwestern in Ireland despite them losing. I don't know. I mean, I will see if he goes to FAU. Other news: Zachary Franklin hit the portal. UTSA star wideout. You got to think I would imagine that this was a NIL-based play. Maybe USC, maybe, I don't know, maybe Texas, maybe Auburn, going to give them a bunch of money to bring in Zachary Franklin, who's clearly the best wideout on the Roadrunners. Nick, how big is that loss, you think, for UTSA?
A little disappointing because, I mean, maybe UTSA blew their load with Captain Harris. Maybe they gave all their NIL money to the quarterback, didn't save any money for the receiver because the guy's a baller. So it would have been fun to see him come back with the quarterback to see what UTSA could do this year. So just as your average college football fan or above average college football fan, it's a little disappointing, but hey, I mean, the kid's got to do what he's got to do. So more power to him.
Holy shit. I'm looking at his numbers now. I mean, I'd be lying if I told you Zachary Franklin was even really on my radar, which maybe he should have been, because the last 2 years, I mean, 4 years. How does he still have eligibility? 38 catches, 49 catches, 81 catches, and 93 catches in 4 years.
It's called your COVID year. That's what it's called.
Oh, right. Shit. God, he's going to set like a NCAA record for catches.
That's a big loss for UTSA. We'll see if they can replace them. Also, Iowa lands former 5-star Ohio State wideout Caleb Brown. Woo!
You sure about that, Caleb?
Yeah, I mean, is this offense with Eric? Oh, they got Eric All, the star tight end from Michigan. They got Cade McNamara. Am I starting to talk myself into Iowa having a top 75 offense?
Will he be the next Tim Dwight?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's been Quinn Early and Tim Dwight were a long fucking time ago. But hey,
the two NFL receivers Iowa has ever produced.
Shout out to Caleb Brown. I was going to be interested to watch with this production, or I should say not production, but this talent on offense. Also, Cal. How about the California Golden Bears landed Marquez Dortch, a wide receiver from Mississippi State, and then they landed all SEC freshman offensive lineman Matthew Wyckoff from Texas A&M. The Golden Bears making a statement. Also, Kobe Johnson, North Dakota State's leading rusher a year ago because Hunter Lepke was injured, transferred to Colorado State. And that's pretty much all of the transfer news that we have at this very moment. But I will talk about a couple other things before we start going live here. Alabama's college baseball scandal. Hilarious. Have you guys followed this at all?
Seen headlines.
Yeah, and honestly, same thing here, Patty. I saw the headline, but I was wondering if the baseball team was going to take it more on the chin, more so than the basketball team. Is that what you're getting at, Colby?
Well, no, I just find this hilarious that over the past 12 months, we've had Jermaine Burton, the Alabama wideout, punch a Tennessee co-ed on the field. We've had Tony Mitchell, an Alabama football player, arrested for guns and weed. I'm not going to mention the weed, guns. And then we had Darius Miles arrested for capital murder. And then, obviously you had the other teammates that were somewhat involved. I guess we'll find out more as that story continues to go to happen. But also their transfer that they brought in this year, Jaquan Walton in basketball, arrested for guns, an illegal gun, multiple guns. Their baseball coach, Brad Bohannon, fired for point shaving investigation, which word was he's on the phone with the guy placing the bet.
No, it's FaceTime, right? He's on FaceTime.
Yeah, on FaceTime. But then he relieves the starting pitcher and they lose. So the starting pitcher's a late scratch. They go with some guy who was terrible. And they lose to LSU 8-6. And to add on top of that, Deputy Athletic Director Travis Sell from Alabama did get arrested for domestic violence about a week ago. So I'm going to go back to Jimbo Fisher's comments. I know we don't have a true smoking gun with the football program, but let's just talk about the Alabama athletics department. How do you I mean, you gotta, crime pays, guys. So
this is the SEC. Is this news?
Yeah, this is like next page.
This has been happening for 50 years in the SEC.
I mean, I don't know about the fixing the game scandal, but yeah, everything else, yeah.
Who's betting on college baseball?
Well, that's how he got caught. If he had done this with college football,
right?
See, with college baseball, there's probably like probably about a good 600 people betting in this country.
Yeah. So if there's a large wager place, you're like, hold on. You
Yeah.
know, what does this person know?
Huge red flag, right? But he's fired, and this is pretty hilarious. I just find this shit hilarious. So, Patty C, you want to talk about Alabama athletics at all?
I mean, I feel like Nick Saban had us all convinced for a while there that they were, above the law, running a clean program somehow, even though we all knew better, that they weren't just going to get caught. And now it's all finally starting to rain down. We're seeing Alabama and its true colors. That crimson red, blood money, whatever you want to call it.
And to be fair, Saban's football program hasn't been too bad.
Well, they did have a gun charge and
a gun charge. You got like 80 guys on your, come on.
But you know why? You know why it is, right? It's like Kirby Smart in Georgia. The town knows not to say anything.
I'm sure that's a large part of it. I mean, that whole thing with the cars, leaving all the Georgia administration was at the strip club. It's hilarious. Anyway, let's just hop on over to the Big 12. Brett Yormark making statements about they're going to be playing basketball and football games in Mexico City. Interesting. Trying to get the Mexican fan base involved. This one kind of makes sense to me, as much as I don't like seeing neutral site games. If you're losing Oklahoma,
outdoors at least, in football at least.
Yeah. If you're losing Oklahoma and Texas, you're trying to reach into a big population, and that's kind of an untapped resource. And I think the conference is going to be pretty competitive, which I think will lead to more exciting games. And maybe the Mexican fan base will like it. And who knows? I mean, I don't know, but he also said he's going to try to do – this is the part that I hate – in-game interviews, halftime coverage, from the locker room like the XFL and USFL do. I hate that.
So, Colby, this is a good thing, because last week you were singing the praises of these conference presidents or whatever you want to call them that are outside of college sports. True. So, yes, they'll bring some good things. They might bring some bad things, too. They might bring ideas that are way out of the box that traditionalists like yourself are not going to like. So some of the new ideas they bring to the table, you might say, hey, that's a good idea. But they're also going to bring a lot of stuff to the table that you're not going to like also. So just get used to it.
I mean, what do you think of games in Mexico City, Patty C?
I'm not a fan, but Patty C, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't seem pro games. Sure, go play them everywhere. It's professional ball, but college is supposed to be played on campus. To even go to a neutral site game is selling out, but you're going to another freaking country. How far away is Mexico City? That's not like right on the border. That's
it's still not that far of a flight.
So it's going to be an in-conference game, which is going to rob one of the teams of a home game. And why? Why?
To increase their television rating.
I don't like it.
Are they really going to get a strong? What is Baylor going to get a Mexican
I don't think they're thinking that there's a connection with Baylor fans living in Mexico City. I think the number of people that might start watching, just because I think Mexico City is one of the biggest cities on the planet, is what they're going for.
They're just like, okay, we can get into televisions down here and maybe recruit some more to our product.
I don't even think it's recruit. Yeah. Well, I mean, recruit to your product. Yeah. I think it's just
the NFL did this a while ago too, but I don't recall any recent NFL games in Mexico City. Are they still doing that? Do they stop that?
There was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they did the one, and the field was like, or did they even play that game? I know the field conditions were like completely unusable.
Oh, I'm all on board for that.
Yeah.
The worse field conditions, the better. Perfect.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I hate the interview part. The Mexico City, I get it. I hate it too because it's a neutral site, but I also understand the creativity that he's using to perhaps outdraw some of those rival schools that perhaps left or that they'll be competing against.
I don't know.
It's a stretch. It's a stretch.
That's a stretch. Definitely.
Yeah. All right. Next, we go to our Twitter question, but from Scott Cran, it goes, what do you guys think of the new college playoff system? I love the show. And folks, this was announced over the past 10 days that the 12-team schedule is here. for college football for 2024. We got, the way that I see it, we have a Thursday, January 9th college football semifinal, a Friday, January 10th college football semifinal. And then you're going to load up, 2 of those games on Saturday competing against the NFL, I believe, right?
Is it really?
I believe. But then I think the next round, when the NFL goes to their playoffs, actually, I think I'm fucking this up.
Hold on. So the playoffs aren't starting until January 9th?
No. I think I'm fucking this up, actually. I don't know what the fuck I did with my sheet. Yeah, no, it's starting before that, but I do believe, it starts on Friday, December 20th. The game's on campus, right?
Okay. Nice. Okay.
1 game on Friday, 3 games on Saturday. Hopefully, at that point, the NFL isn't.
I can't wait for a December 20th home game at a cold environment, like at Utah or at Iowa or at Penn State or at Michigan or Ohio State. Man, that's great. That's awesome.
Well, and to me, like, the thing that really, to me, could they dropped the ball with only doing 1 round of home games, but it is improvement. It is improvement. I still think they're going to go to 2. Me and Patty C have talked about this when they see the economic impact that these college towns get. The top 4 teams are going to have the bye week and wonder, whoa, let's go to 16 because we want all that money in our, within our town and with our university. I don't know. I mean,
baby steps, dude. It's not going to be a perfect system, but it's going to be better than 4. So take it and don't be too critical, and let's move on.
All right.
I don't want to move on. I want to talk about it. I want to say it's clearly, and if you think for 1 second that there aren't longer term implications on this, when it probably will expand, will they just push the first round back to the second Saturday of December and then have 3 or 4 rounds of bowl games? I sure as hell hope not. It's bad enough that we have to sit through. We have 1 round of home games and 3 rounds of bowls. Absolutely ridiculous.
Fucking suck. They deserve death. I don't want any of those fucking bowl games. And I think they hurt the sport more than they help the sport. Let
me tell you this too.
What's that?
As far as the second Saturday in December being reserved for Army Navy, that didn't start until 2009. Okay. And most of the time, that game has been played over the course of its history on Thanksgiving weekend, just like every other rivalry game. So the second Saturday should have been used. Instead, they're pushing halfway into January. I think they fucked up the timing of it. I think they need to adjust it, but whatever.
Yeah, no, and I'm with you. And Army Navy, in my opinion, should be on Thanksgiving. I know you could say, well, give them the whole day to themselves. Well, look, Army Navy, you might say, well, it's 2 triple option teams. Well, Army's out of the gun now, all right? And maybe their completion percentage will be about 30%, but it'll still be better than watching a Lions game, all right? So let's do it. Make America good again, and let's get the let's get Army Navy back on Thanksgiving, all right? Not great. Great would be a
no trademark infringement.
Nope, not going for that, all right? I'm down here in South America, enjoying my rum. What I got a couple other Twitter questions I got to get to before we draft. All right. Because I did pose a question, and shout out to Weehawk, who keeps tagging us in these beautiful cocktails down in Western Carolina, Western North Carolina. I don't know if he's at Western Carolina University or what, but
pretty damn close.
Yeah, he's killing it. And Weehawk also says, in honor of Cinco de Mayo, how many tequila shots will be consumed during the show? I think this is a question that he meant to say to Patty C. How you doing, buddy? And but maybe
we'll just assume that.
But NC Nick's coming from a Cinco de Mayo party, so perhaps
no shots, but I did have a couple margaritas.
Okay, Patty C.
I'll gun one on air because I don't have the tequila shots ready, but I got some Pacifico. I had to go Mexican, of course, and I'll shotgun one for the people.
There we go. And we got Joe Hackney asking a question. Says, which team will be furthest away at the end of the year to their season projections? Which, by the way, some over-under win totals dropped in the past 48 hours. Go check those out. But Joe Hackney's questions, the over-under projections on Texas A&M, Texas, USC, or UCLA. I don't know that I have seen the Pac-12s yet. So I know, Joe, you're in the chat. What is USC's and UCLA's? I know Oklahoma and Texas are at 9.5, and I don't know that I saw A&M yet either.
All I know is that, so let's talk Texas for 1 second while Joe can hopefully pull it up. So much like last year, Texas plays Alabama. Now this year, this year's at Alabama. So I'm not saying it's a definite loss because Alabama's got a new quarterback. Who knows? I mean, Texas should have been last year, but if you count that as a loss, that means Texas can only lose one more to hit an over. So I'm all about the under on the Longhorns. How many years in a row has the under on Texas hit for us?
Yeah, and let's not forget that Dylan Gabriel missed the Red River Shootout, and they put it on Oklahoma. So I think Oklahoma has this one circled. So I don't know. I just feel, yeah, you're right. And the Big 12 is too deep. It's too deep. Every week's a good team. So there's no way to me that you can talk me into the over on Texas. And we haven't even got the team previews yet. A&M is at 7.5. I like that over. I think, Road Rash Face is going to make that offense move some. USC's at 9.5, UCLA 8.5, Texas 9.5, as he alluded to. Are you
that confident on A&M getting to 8 wins? That would be 3 more than last year, if my memory serves me correctly. They won 5 last year.
Yeah, but I just think they couldn't move the ball on offense. I think Bobby Petrino will. Now, there's a chance that
your love for Road Rash Face clouding your judgment here potentially?
No, I think he's a very good offensive coordinator. Now, he still might punch Jimbo Fisher in the face at some point or try to fuck his wife or something. He's
not going to punch it. Dude, okay. Road Rash Face is not that kind
He's
of
a Nancy boy. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Well, maybe Jimbo Fisher has a cocktail party after a nice win and Mrs. Fisher, things happen. All right.
That I could see because he is a sleazeball.
Oh, in a second.
Go back to when Road Rash Face was head coach of the Falcons. The player said he wouldn't even look them in the eye. He's not going to walk up and punch his ass.
Yeah, for punch. He could sucker punch.
A little Kevin Gilbride action.
He could sucker punch. Look, hold on. So the question is which team will be furthest away at the end of the season from their projections? Texas A&M, Texas, USC, or UCLA? I mean, I think it's got to be Texas.
Well, USC should top 9.5 if they're any bit the team they were last year. That was year 1 under Lincoln Riley, and they were damn near in the playoff. They probably should have been.
Yeah, but I would also
bring back the Heisman Trophy winning quarterback.
Their schedule's harder this year. They avoided Washington last year. They avoided some of those other schools, and also Notre Dame should be better year 2, who they draw out of conference. I agree that I kind of lean over there, but I don't know. I think Oregon State's going to be a lot better. I think Washington.
Texas,
they're 9-3.
I think the answer is Texas, though, because Texas, if they go 8-4, they are 1.5 games off their opening line. I think USC at least wins 9.
Yeah, and I think Patty C's forgetting is you're seeing Gary K talk about the Pac-12 is loaded, and same with Joe Hackney. That's what I'm saying. I think it's a lot harder than it was a year ago.
So they say.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm seeing Washington in the preseason number 5 spot. Give me a fucking break.
Well, look, yeah. I mean, to Patty's point, the SEC West isn't dropping off the face of the earth either. And Colby, you just said the Big 12's tough also. So they're all tough, okay?
No, but I'm on the over in USC. I'm not saying
UCLA could hit pretty far under 8.5. They could drop back to 6-6 because Charbonnet gone and who is a quarterback? DTR.
Yeah, so that would tie Texas if they won 8-4. They both be 1.5 below their expected total. If you're counting this as the expected total,
I think the answer is Texas because I think
I do.
Remember, Michigan dropped UCLA in that non-con. UCLA should go 3-0 non-con. So are
we convinced Ewers is gonna just take a big step forward? What if he's
no, I'm not. I mean, he'll take a step forward, but I didn't see enough consistency where I'm sold on him being like a top 5 quarterback in America.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he'll be better, and I think the
And
offensive
Bijan and Roshan are both gone too.
yeah. So
Big.
yeah. All right. Look, before we get to our draft, because that's it on the questions. All right. Maybe we got another one, but I'm not going to
No, it's fucking 40 minutes in. We haven't even drafted a team yet. Come on. I know it's Friday night, but geez.
Friday night. This guy's having cocktails. I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes. Best Ball Mania is here, and the Underdog Fantasy crew is giving away $15 million in prizes. Woo! Plus, there's plenty of ways to win on their player prop parlays within the NBA, NHL, and MLB. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use that promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. We're also brought to you by the Kentucky Derby. Yes, it is Derby week, folks. And the Notorious OTB podcast, which you should be subscribed to, and the Sports Gambling Podcast Network are bringing you all the great stuff for your Triple Crown bets, all right? If you leave a review for the show, Notorious OTB, wherever you get your podcast, between now and the Belmont Stakes, which is on Saturday, June 10th, you'll be entered in to win a drawing of a canvas print of one of the Wolf of Oakland's Fallen Bob paintings. That's a one-of-a-kind. I mean, look, there's Michelangelo and there's Fallen Bob. What are you going to choose? Fallen Bob is available. It's post time, folks. We also are going to throw in a bonus contest exclusively on the SGPN app where the winner will get a $100 SGPN gift card. So get on over there. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride. All right.
I was a big Sideshow Bob fan.
Yeah, Sideshow Bob, not Fallen Bob.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, him too. But both
Yep,
of them. SpongeBob, you name it.
That's a Patty C's boy, right?
Right.
All right, guys, we got the draft here, all right? And it's my turn to pick, and I'm excited. First off, can we talk about this slate and the weekday games, NC Nick? You're a weekday guy, all right?
I am call me Weekday Nick. Finally, now it's only Thursday and Friday, but we do have 6 games on combined. So finally we get some volume and some quality, especially the quality comes Friday.
Oh,
Friday is under the radar fire.
Friday might be better than Saturday. I mean, what are they doing? Put a couple of these on Wednesday.
Right, please.
I mean, okay, so look, Thursday night, Jacksonville State's at Sam Houston State. Little CUSA action, CUSA. Middle Tennessee at Western Kentucky, which is the 100 Miles of Hate rivalry, which I like. And then a random fucking AAC game that's random within its own fucking conference. Temple at Tulsa. Then on Friday, you get just – I don't like this because there's two – I mean, I guess I have God's eye. I should be happy. Utah at Oregon State. Cincinnati at BYU. Louisville at NC State. And La Tech at UTEP. I mean, whew. 3 of those games are absolute heat. I actually – I kind of feel like I made a case on this very podcast, a solo episode, where I said college football should get creative with their scheduling and have 2, like, to me, you should have like 4 I think I said 4 to 5 games every single night of the week, except Sunday, right? And there's it's like they listened to that episode, but the problem is that you don't put all of your strength. If you would just move one of these to Thursday or Wednesday, then we can catch eyes on the whole game. Now, I have God's eye. I'll be able to watch the whole game on all of them, but your average American doesn't have God's eye.
Rub it in, buddy.
Patty C, what do you make of this madness we got going on during the week?
Well, I agree with you. I mean, Utah has won 10 games several times. Oregon State's a rising power potentially.
Oregon State won 10 last year or 11.
Yeah.
I think 11, yeah.
Cincinnati went to the playoff. BYU won 10 or 11 games for several years. And NC State's been on the doorstep, it seems like, forever. And Louisville is a decent challenger there. So that is 3 really good games on Friday night that you're right should be spread out a little bit. But either way, some entertaining weeknight spots there.
Like, chances are I'm going to be at Louisville at NC State Friday night, but part of me doesn't want to because I'll miss the other games. It's like, it's like I can't win here, but I'm not complaining. finally, I mean, that Friday is loaded for sure. And ESPN sucks because ESPN, their website did not have the Jacksonville State Sam Houston game on Thursday yet. So anybody looking at schedules, go to fbsschedules.com. Fuck ESPN. They're not updated. They don't care about Jacksonville State, Sam Houston State. Go to FBS schedules. So I was wrong. I said 6 games. There's actually 7 games combined.
They actually, ESPN still thinks that's an FCS game.
Yeah.
Folks, well, look, it's my pick, number 1. Then Nick, number 2. Patty, number 3. Let's get into it. I know what you want me to do. You want me to play one of these high-profile games.
It's wide open, man. Wide open.
I'm keeping you on the weekday. Because when I see Utah, who's won the Pac-12 twice in a row, heading into Corvallis on a weeknight, remember USC's 07 team? I believe that was a Thursday night in Corvallis, if memory serves me correct.
That ruined their national championship. They were the best team in college football, and Oregon State basically dethroned the dynasty of USC on a Thursday night.
Nice Beaver.
I'm all over Utah at Oregon State. No one's got this as the first game. I don't give a fuck what they say. It's on a weeknight, and this place is going to be lit.
You better believe it.
Last time Utah played in Corvallis, they got their ass whooped. I'm telling you, Oregon State's winning this thing. It's a weeknight game. Nick, what do you make of the first play of the draft?
I think it's a great game, and I think the back-to-back defending Pac-12 champions should be extremely concerned because Corvallis is going to be crazy, and this is going to be a hell of a matchup. I think this week, I don't think there's any. I think it's wide open. I think you could have chose like any of like 10 games here, and I couldn't argue with it. I think this week has depth, but it doesn't have surefire prime time games, teams going head to head. So I like the play.
Oh, it's happening. Patty C, what do you make of the Beavs hosting the Utes as the top pick in the draft?
Well, I love to see the Pac-12 get a little love. Not that I'm like a Pac-12 lover, even though I'm out in LA. I still have East Coast love more than anything.
You said the word love 4 times in the past 2 sentences.
Well, it's a show about love. I love college football, Nick. Sorry, I don't tone down my affection for college football like you do. But look,
we're all guys here. You're dropping the L word a couple too many times. Okay,
that's true. But tighten it up. I will. No, it's a great game, and I think Corvallis is a dangerous place. Again, we can circle games on Utah's schedule that are potential pitfalls, and this one certainly qualifies.
All right. Well, NC Nick.
Dude, again, it's kind of hard to pick one here, but I'm going to go to the Big Ten. I think Michigan at Nebraska is an intriguing matchup. I mean, you got 2 gigantic fan bases. Yes, Nebraska has sucked recently, but still, I think it's a tricky spot for Michigan. We'll see what Matt Rhule does with the Cornhuskers. It may be lopsided. I don't know. You guys might argue with this play, and if you do, I kind of agree with it. But I got to play something here, and I do want to watch Michigan at Nebraska this week here.
I'm
so
okay.
Essentially,
yeah.
This is the exact opposite of what Colby just said. This is the big brand name play.
Yeah, true.
I mean, look, I feel like Michigan should have lost the last time they played in Lincoln. They got very fortunate to come out of there, and that was the first year they made the CFP. They might get caught up here. All right, Matt Rhule. I don't know where he will have the Cornhuskers here, but that place will be lit. Yeah. But Patty C, what do you make of this one?
I mean, even though Nebraska had a tough year last year, so many of their losses were close. Northwestern 3-point. I mean, we've gone over this a million times. Everyone knows that that's what Nebraska does is lose close. Last year was no exception. They're probably closer than a lot of us are thinking. If Matt Rhule has some coaching chops to get this thing turned around year 1 and Michigan's not ready to go, then it could be a problem.
This is one of the games that the Big Ten was salivating over when they brought in Nebraska. Now, it hasn't turned out as glorious as they expected because Nebraska's been struggling, but that doesn't still mean it's still Michigan, Nebraska, you know?
Yeah. Get two blue blood names, college football history's on your side, and it should be a dandy here. All right. Patty C.
Well, I think there's some solid SEC play going on here. 3 really good games that I'm seeing, maybe even 4. But the one that draws my attention most is LSU traveling to Oxford, Mississippi to play the Ole Miss Rebels. And I think, look, if we're the LSU 10-4 last year, Ole Miss 8-5, but Ole Miss, no, correct me because I'm not finding it on our sheet here. That game is in Oxford, correct?
Yeah, it's in Oxford. Yes,
Okay.
and they've been playing it since 1894. They call it the Magnolia Bowl, baby.
Yeah, I lost track of that, but yes, huge Southern, great game here, and could Ole Miss be a thorn in LSU side? Now, I was thinking that maybe LSU was a team that had some championship potential, but I think their schedule is just too hard when I look at it, and this is one of those games where it's like, dude, there's too many of these potential L's on the schedule. Lane Kiffin, Brian Kelly, personalities. It's going to be fun. Sign me up.
Are you at all worried that Ole Miss has only won 3 of these since 2010?
Sure. I mean, LSU has had their number, and they probably have had it for a long time. What's the all-time series here? 63-39, according to Sports Reference.
No, I got it at 65-41.
Yeah, I think Sports Reference only
Huge
goes
difference
back so far. Right. So, yeah, I mean, losers of 6 of the last 7. The one win was the last time they played a home game, though. So maybe Vaught Hemingway is
rocking.
Is rocking for him. Yes.
All right, I like it. I'm interested by this play because I did have another SEC game ahead of it, but it's a good game. I don't really think Ole Miss is very good. So I thought last year they were a phony football team. LSU, I believe, is good, and I think they're actually. I'll argue that I think they are contenders for the national championship this year.
Which might be why a tough road trip makes this game very compelling. Because I actually agree with Patty. This was my number 1 ranked SEC game. It was close, but it was number 1 ranked. Yeah, LSU's a better team, but dude, at Ole Miss is never easy. So I think this is a very good game, and it's well played by our guy Patty C.
Well, thank you. One question.
What's that?
Lane Kiffin's offense, they didn't replicate the 2020 Sugar Bowl season or 21 Sugar Bowl season. And I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name who went to Oklahoma.
Jeff Lebby.
Lebby, do you think that the offense is going to regress on a more permanent basis because of his departure, or do you think Ole Miss will spring back into form? Maybe the quarterback play will improve. Who's running the quarterback down at Ole Miss right now?
We don't know, but we think it's going to be Jackson Dart. They have a 3-man contest going.
I still see that as crazy that he beats out Spencer Sanders.
Yeah, but he does have a leg up. He's played a year longer in that system. I just don't think they're very good. I think they're a phony team a year ago. I thought they padded their schedule. I think they're, to me,
Do you think they were good 2 years ago with Lebby as the OC?
Yeah, but kind of gimmicky.
They were better that year with Matt Corral.
They were better.
Yeah.
But they were still a gimmick team.
Basically Michigan State last year. The Michigan State of 2 years ago last year.
So you guys think they've peaked, in other words, under Kiffin, and maybe a pretty mediocre 8-5-ish team. That's what we should expect from them.
I guess I shouldn't say that because there's so many question marks at quarterback in the SEC. I mentioned a couple weeks ago on this podcast, we were talking, and I said, Alabama almost lost 5 games last year, and now you lose the number 1 pick in the draft and Will Anderson on defense, and we're supposed to just trust that they're going to go 10-2.
You don't always reload,
Our guy Gary K in the chat says, "What about Wagner at Rutgers in the first round?" Well, Northeast football, Patty C. Come on.
Yeah, but no, but I mean, look, not only them. I've mentioned this. To me, I think I saw someone talking about this on Twitter today. Is the SEC the worst quarterback conference in the Power 5?
Wow.
I think it might be. At least the
They
most
just
unknown.
produced 2 top 4 draft picks, so it's hard to argue that. But
Yeah, at least the most unknowns, I should say.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you that Dundee's going to play one for his boy, and the one that I had ranked higher in the SEC. And shout out to GBO Farms, friend of the program, because last year this ruined Tennessee's season. It ruined it, and now Tennessee's got to replace. They got to replace what's my guy's name from Hendon Hooker. And they get to host Spencer Rattler and the South Carolina Gamecocks. This was my number 1 SEC game of the week.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Huh. Interesting.
Because last year it was a lot of drama. Didn't they argue they ran up the score on them? Shit like that. Like, I feel like these teams might hate each other now.
I got to disagree, guys. I think the game Patty played is much better than this one. You could argue that there's at least one, if not 2 more other SEC games that is better than this one. I think South Carolina, talk about maybe a phony team. Look, I know they went on a run late, but they won some of those games at home. On the road is a different story. Who they beat on the road last year? So no, I don't know. I think you're overplaying this one, buddy.
Well, let me tell you something about Ole Miss. If they're not playing Mississippi State, I find them to be a boring team in college football. If like there's
they were run heavy last year
and boring to me.
You love the run.
No, they do that speed run shit. I don't like that. I like Iowa's run attack. All right.
bullshit. You like San Diego State's, and they have athletic backs all the time.
Yeah, but they still run power. You know what I mean?
With Judkins and Evans running the ball for Ole Miss last year, that was fucking dynamite. And Judkins is back, one of the best running backs in the country,
True.
if not the best.
But there's
It
something
is a
boring.
finesse ass running system.
Yeah,
You say that until Judkins runs over your ass, and then how finesse is that?
I'm just saying. Look, you can go back to Wesley Walls in the '80s at Ole Miss. I've always found their football team and their program boring. So, call it what it is. I find that game boring. Give me South Carolina and Tennessee. I think there's more hatred in this game.
Well, shit. Tennessee was a playoff team until they played South Carolina last year. That was their second loss in an 11-2 season. So I'm sure Tennessee's pretty pissed off about it. It should be pretty lit.
Yeah. So NC Nick can hate all he wants. And the other game's in a dome, Nick, so I can't play that game.
Spencer Rattler.
Patty,
What
did
about
you have one more point you want to make?
No, I would just think Spencer Rattler is another big name in there that we didn't mention, but also makes the game compelling.
Well,
all right,
NC Nick,
guys.
you're on the clock. What are you doing?
Thank you. Your boys, USC at Colorado. Might be a blowout, but we got USC, which is one of the more fascinating teams to watch last year. They're going to be the same thing this year at Boulder, Coach Prime. I'm telling you, every Colorado game this year, you can play in the top 5 or the top 10. And this one especially, because this one has like Hollywood versus Prime. What do you know? This is awesome. Come on.
Yeah, my only problem is that the Pac-12 once again did USC a favor going out the door. They should have played this in October and November. But you're right. It is interesting. And I also find it interesting because Colorado might even be able to man up against USC's wideouts with the amount of –
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is like we haven't had a true game-changing, like must-see TV defensive back since Patrick Peterson in college football. I guess maybe Tyrann Mathieu, but like it's still in terms of a dude that like projected to be like one of the greatest defensive backs of all time. It's been since Patrick Peterson, and you got him potentially the guy. Who, now I'm drawing a blank on the Colorado hotshot defensive back.
Travis Hunter, Cormani McClain, which one?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. They got a couple of them, but
Going up
Travis
against
Hunter,
one of the best quarterbacks in the country. Boom.
what's that?
Going up against one of the best quarterbacks in the country,
Yeah.
Caleb Williams.
I mean that's
fascinating
1990s football right there.
I hear there's rumors on the internets.
Buff's going to pull that one off, man. They're going to get it done. Let's go. Patty C, what do you make of USC at Colorado?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, if the game was in Los Angeles, it would be a snooze. But maybe, I mean, the crowd is obviously going to be lit here. Hopefully, it's a night game, and Colorado is pretty good. And then there could be some fireworks here. At the very least, like 3/4 are good football. But maybe Colorado's got something up their sleeve. We'll see.
This has a prime time written all over it. I don't want this to be a 10:30 kickoff.
Yeah.
East Coast even wants to see this. Okay.
Yeah, the college game day should be at this.
They should, but will they? Patty C, you are on the clock.
Look, this is a personal play that I'm going to draw criticism for, but it's simply two brands I enjoy. I've mentioned it in previous weeks as something that I enjoy. We're going to the Deep South's oldest rivalry, and we are going Georgia at Auburn. Yes, Georgia has won 6 in a row. I don't give a flying fuck. Because this game is great. And Auburn, who knows? Maybe with, like we said, Peyton Thorne, better quarterback play, maybe they find a way to compete.
Look, it's a great rivalry, but, I mean, at least this year. Last year was in Athens, so you knew it was going to be disgusting. This year, War Eagle, baby. And you add strip club freeze to the mix, I might be on board.
And that's why I think this game is better than South Carolina at Tennessee. It's the defending champion 2 years in a row against Auburn. And Auburn, bro, say what you want about them. They've been able to beat top teams at home, including Alabama.
Yeah.
So if this game was in Athens, drop it 15 spots. But the fact that it's in Auburn, it deserves to be top 5, top 10.
All right, you can talk me into maybe I have Georgia Auburn ahead of South Carolina Tennessee, but my angle is I think Tennessee hosts Georgia in November. Tennessee's got to get through the SEC East with no hiccups, and that game was a game that I thought was pretty awesome last year. But yeah, I think you're right.
South Carolina did that to Georgia too a couple years ago. They are very capable of upsetting teams that are supposedly far better than they are.
But I think Georgia Auburn, the history there, and then strip club freeze, I do think it's better than South Carolina Tennessee. So
I just see those two uniforms on the screen, and that's college football to me. That's one of the things that is college football, Georgia Auburn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Great play. You ready? I'm ready for NC Nick to shit on this one. All right. I'm not taking you to the 3 other SEC games that are actually two. There's 2 other SEC games that are pretty decent, but I'm taking you to Norman, Oklahoma, because Matt Campbell fucks with Oklahoma, and you telling me they had a tough year last year. Right? And they actually lost by 14 points in this game, but it was a lot closer than that final score. But they have played Oklahoma pretty damn well of late. Now, I know the all-time record is disgusting. I feel like Oklahoma's won 100-5 or something, right?
That matters not right now.
Oh, I mean, dudes. And how about Iowa State getting the first-round draft pick, their first-round draft pick since the 70s? Matt Campbell's building this thing. Go back to 2016, right? Every game has been pretty damn close. I know last year's 27-13 was the biggest outcome, but I mean, go look at these ones in Norman. Oklahoma won by 7 and 21 with Lincoln Riley. The one prior to that, they won by 1 because Matt Campbell went for 2. The one before that, Iowa State won by 7. So since Matt Campbell's been there, that's all of the times he's been to Norman. They're coming in, and they're going to give the Sooners a fucking game. I love this matchup, and I want to see it. I want to watch it every year. Give me Iowa State at Oklahoma. NC Nick, start the hate.
No, I'm not going to hate on too much. I think it's well played here. The question is this the best Big 12 matchup of the weekend? Because, there's a team called Kansas, your boys, that have also played Texas pretty close also. And I hate Texas more than I hate Oklahoma. So I will be rooting for that upset more so than this upset. And then there's also another game Friday night between 2 Big 12 newbies, which is pretty interesting. They're all in the same, general range for me, but this is a fun game, and it does have upset potential because Iowa State has played Oklahoma very tough of late.
Patty C, what do you make of this one?
Only a true college football hipster would take a series that is 79-7 all time.
79-7, damn.
But you are correct. It was just 4 years ago when Iowa State was able to get it done in Ames. Or wait, was that? No, yeah, that was 4 years ago. So
they've won twice though under Campbell.
That's true. They actually won in Oklahoma. So last year's was it? So this one is in Norman.
Well, let me ask you. Sorry, Patty, go ahead.
Actually, I don't know that from a score standpoint, it's made a big difference whether it's been in Norman or Iowa State. Matt Campbell may prepare his team to not be scared of the big stadium. I think that seems to be the case. You know, he's kind of like whatever. He doesn't get scared by big moments.
Well, let me ask you guys, what upset would you rather see? Iowa State beat Oklahoma or Kansas beat Texas?
Oh, that's tough.
Kansas beat Texas.
I hate Texas more than Oklahoma, but
Yes.
I think Iowa State, Oklahoma has given us more classics in the past decade.
It's been more fun, but actually Kansas beating Texas on that 2-point conversion.
That was fun.
Yeah. And the year with Charlie Strong, they've beaten Texas twice in the past decade.
Plus, Kansas being the absolute doormat of the Big 12 football-wise, and Texas supposedly being the flag bearer, and then anytime you can see that upset, it's beautiful.
Well, you know why it's great too is we got the Red River Shootout on deck, and you get Iowa State and Kansas with potential fuck you moments before that game. So you gotta love that.
Absolutely.
All right, hang on 1 second, folks. We are back on the college football experience. This is the B side where things get loose, and we are in the middle of our draft. We had just played Iowa State at Oklahoma. Go listen to the first part where we talk about our top games of the week, and we touch base on the new 12-team playoff, the Big 12's new statements from Brett Yormark, perhaps playing in Mexico City, and a lot of the transfer portal news and the Alabama athletic department. So go check out all of that stuff on the A side of the episode. All right, NC Nick, you're on the clock.
Yeah, there's a large group of games here, but we were just talking about the Big 12 here. So the game I had slightly higher than Iowa State at Oklahoma is Kansas at Texas, because it has been a fun matchup of late, and because we hate Texas and we would love to see the Jayhawks come into Austin, deal with the homeless problem, and come out with a W.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Man, when you really look at this, I guess this is pretty on par with the Iowa State one.
Right.
Because so we have 2 wins with Kansas in the past 6 meetings, right? But you also have I think Texas needed a walk-off field goal in 19 to win. They were down 48-47, and they made like a 50-yard field goal to win that game. And you also have a 7-point game in 2018. So, I mean, you've had some barn burners lately. Patty C, what do you make of Kansas heading into Austin, Texas, where they won the last time they were there? And not only did they win, they put up 57 on the Longhorns.
Well, is this the last year that Texas and Oklahoma are in the Big 12?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this would be the ultimate fuck you out the door. Kansas getting Texas. And even though, whatever, I guess both are both football teams and basketball schools at this point. But this is supposed to be the thing that Texas has the upper hand on Kansas in decisively. And if Kansas sends them out the door with a loss, it's just like another huge win for the Big 12 if this happens. So obviously we're rooting for Kansas here.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Patty C, you are on the clock, buddy.
All right. I think it's a little too early to play a certain Sun Belt game that is in my mind. But look, I'm going to take you to a potential budding rivalry. I I guess there's not that much traditional intrigue in this game. I don't know. I think we're officially already at the point in the slate where we're starting to have to manufacture some storylines here.
Really?
I
don't
disagree.
know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm missing something. Fine. You know what? I'm going to go a little more traditional here. We are going to go to Jerry's World.
Yeah.
Where, we have Arkansas and Texas A&M playing each other. And even if it is at a corporate AT&T stadium, look, this game, I feel like this is the biggest abomination of a game to be played in a dome because Arkansas is as much a grinding style and brand, and so is A&M. They're both outdoor, tough Texas brands or tough Southern brands. They should not be playing in a dome, but I guess Dallas is kind of the epicenter of that part of the country, so they have their opportunity to shine against each other. One of these teams may be catapulting themselves toward a pretty good season here.
If this was at Texas A&M, it would have finished in my top 3.
Yeah, it definitely bumps up a couple spots, at least, for sure.
Yeah, but instead, it's at this stupid stadium where I hate watching the game. I'll have this on TV, but it will not get the main TV because I think it sucks in a dome. And but yeah, you got Road Rash Face going up against his former team.
I feel like these games are usually pretty damn competitive.
Yes.
Too.
Yes. Yeah. It deserves to be played in the top 10. It does, regardless of where it's played at.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Two good football teams.
Yeah. I mean, they have given us some classics too. I even feel like last year's game was pretty hilarious when KJ Jefferson dove from the 8-yard line and didn't make it to the end zone because he fumbled. Look, I think it's deserved to be played here, so I agree. I'm on the clock, and I'm taking you to. Let's go back into the weekday action. There's a lot to be excited about, but I proposed this thing on many of our episodes since January. I think Louisville is going to play for the ACC championship.
Oh, you bastard!
Yowzers!
I really do. Right? And did you see they just got Storm Duck and the other corner, Cameron Kelly? Both those highly touted recruits.
What I loved was when Satterfield left, all the hotshot recruits were like, yeah, that wasn't the thing that was bringing me to Louisville. It's like, whoa, that's the head football coach. But it was clearly NIL money, Louisville shelling it out.
I've mentioned this before, though. The road schedule for Louisville this year. I shit you not. At NC State, at Pitt, at Miami. Those are the 3 true road games they play all year long. Right? I think they're better than Miami every year. So I don't worry about the Miami game. It's the other 2 that I say, whoa. They can win these things. And this is the big one to me because Notre Dame is on deck. They can even lose the Pitt game. But if you can get this win to NC State, if they can just go 1-1 on the road, but if they go 2-0, even better. But I really believe this is the best schedule in the ACC. So when they head into Carter Finley on Friday, September 29th,
I'll be there.
I think it's must-watch TV. And I also add in the fact that Louisville is 8-4 all time because NC State's a bunch of fucking pretenders. Patty C, what do you make of this one?
How long until Jeff Brom gets this? The ACC a much easier road to hoe than the Big Ten, even the Big Ten West, where he was at Purdue, and yet he still managed to make the Big Ten championship game.
How many national championships have come out of the Big Ten West recently?
Wait, is there? That's
because there's been multiple ACC teams that have won a championship recently.
I guess recently in the last 10 years, maybe Florida State 2014. I guess they still fall in that. That's true, but when getting out of the Big Ten West doesn't mean you've got out of the Big Ten. And there is Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan sitting there in your way. So
how many national championships?
You know what? Fair. I can't argue. I can't argue. Look, I want to like the Big Ten West is not but okay, maybe it's easier to win 9 games in the ACC than it is in the Big Ten, even if you are in the West.
Maybe
I'm kind of playing devil's advocate there because I see what you're saying, but I didn't want you to have to just talk shit about the ACC completely without me having to back it up a little bit. Okay, Patty C.
They got some teams that can win big time, for sure. Still, but look, I do think that where are we? I think Louisville. I think it's a little ridiculous even to think that Brom in year 1 is going to be competitive. But the fact that
they won 8
Louisville
games last year.
Louisville did,
yeah,
that's surprising. Maybe the turnaround is quicker. Maybe you got a point there.
Malik Cunningham's gone.
That's a good thing for Jeff Brom.
Look, Colby. Review history. Every year you have Louisville as your sleeper team. You get excited about their potential, and then they lose games, and you get pissed off at them. This happens every year
With Satterfield,
Okay.
which is why I'm down on Cincinnati. I'm a Brom guy.
But Brom year 1, it took him a little while to turn around Purdue. Okay, so.
Well, Purdue was also a 1-win team before he took them over.
Pump the brakes a little bit. They're not coming into Raleigh to get this W here because you're forgetting about Brennan Armstrong and Robert Anai. And this point, week 5 in the season, that offense is going to be cranking pretty good. And NC State always has a pretty good defense under Doran. So, no, they are not going to win the ACC. They're not going to win this game here, but it should be played at this point because I do plan on being there, and it's going to be a fun game.
Whoa. My point is, whether it's this or Pitt, as long as they go 1-1, they're playing for the ACC championship.
They'll have a better chance of winning at Pitt than at NC State on Friday night.
Well, maybe you're right, but it doesn't matter. Like, NC State's a pretender every fucking
Wait,
year.
the
Have they ever had a
ACC
10-win season?
Oh, and Louisville isn't a pretender every year?
No, they've had 10-win seasons.
Charlie Strong
Teddy
beat
Bridgewater.
Florida in the Sugar Bowl.
Eddie Bridgewater.
Look,
Were they from the Big East then?
They were.
They were pretty shitty back then.
Still, doesn't matter, buddy. Jeff Brom's a proven winner, and this is meant to be. He's home. This is where things make sense. Watch out. Get your future in now in the Louisville Cardinals. All right?
Look,
Get your future.
Louisville, NC State should never crack a top 10 football game of any particular week.
Bite your tongue, Patty C.
All right.
Who else
Colby, let's go.
All right. Look,
that was Colby's play.
Yeah, hang on. I
That
want to
was
tell
me,
you
though.
folks out there that the college football experience is brought to you by Shady Rays and Shady May. Yes. Shady Rays has you covered from the sun to the slopes with premium polarized shades, customizable snow goggles, and much, much more. And right now, Shady Rays is teaming up with SGPN for Shady May. Yeah. Get you 50% off everything. And you get a chance to win $500. How about that? Shady Rays got the essentials. They got the durable frames, the extremely clear optics for all those outdoor adventures, like going to see Brom walk into Raleigh and beat those pretenders. All right. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses is backed by lost and broken replacements. Yeah, that means you can get punched in the face at Carter Finley and break your glasses. Don't worry about it. They're not going to ask any questions. They're going to send you a new pair where you can wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. Go to shadyrays.com. Use the promo code SGPN, 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Then take your receipt over to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win $500 in the Shady May contest. All right, NC Nick, you are on the clock.
Let's just keep going with the weekday games because Cincinnati at BYU on Friday night is another great Friday night game. Well done scheduling, Big 12. Look, these two teams might end up being middle-of-the-road conference opponents, but the newness of it is cool. The fact that Cincinnati travels to Utah is unique. This is a fun game, okay?
I almost played it, but I just think Brom is going to have Louisville rolling. So at Cincinnati, I'm lower on Cincinnati. I think BYU is a contender in the Big 12 to play for the championship. So
That's I think that's a stretch, but I did have your game above this one, which is why you were good to play it before it.
Patty, see what do you make of your Bearcats coming into Provo to soak?
Well, let me say this. I mean, let's think about other times that we had pretty high-level teams going into a power conference and what our perception of them was and how they ended up doing. You know, obviously Miami shit the bed, but Virginia Tech dominated the ACC for a decade straight upon joining. Florida State did the same thing back in the 90s. And then TCU has done pretty damn well. They came out swinging. They had a tough spot, but they've since rebounded. I think that everyone is – Utah has done great. Everyone is assuming, especially since there's 4 new teams. I don't think we've ever seen this situation, 4 legit teams entering a new conference, that Cincinnati and BYU. I mean, what are their win totals? We saw Cincinnati at 4.5. This team was in the fucking playoff 2 years ago. They almost beat Georgia 3 years ago. You know, we think they're just going to be the worst team in the Big 12 upon joining. Why? You know?
I said middle of the pack. I didn't say the worst.
But
that's West Virginia.
Vegas thinks they're the worst. They have both Cincinnati and West Virginia at the bottom, 4.5 wins. I don't know. Maybe it's Satterfield. He's not that bad.
I mean, I like this matchup. I mean, it's fun just because, yeah, I mean, I think everyone in the Big 12 has got a shot, but the team I trust less would be Cincinnati.
And it's not like some divisions where the last team is so far away from the top team. This is more a bunch of teams from 4-8 to 8-4. There could be a couple outliers that go above or below that, but a lot of that is going to be within there.
And I'll have you know, these teams have played twice in the past decade. The only 2 times they've played. BYU owns that series 2-0 as they won in Provo 38-24 in 2015. Then they went into the NIP and won 20-3 in 2016.
Fuck them.
What do you got to say about that, Patty C?
Fuck Utah. I mean, fuck BYU. But let me say this. What are the odds? I think we've already kind of talked about this before, but what are the odds that between BYU, Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston, that at least one of them is like a 9-10 win team? Because all of them in year one, it's got to happen. It's not like all of them are just going to come in and suck ass. You know, one of them is going to be decent. This could be a pretty good game.
I think BYU is the most prepared for that.
I think they could all come in and do decent and still not win 9 or 10 games, especially if you're talking about regular season games. That's tough to do.
Why don't you bet me right now?
I'll bet you. I'll bet your ass right now. What do you want to bet, buddy?
Bitch, Nick. One of those teams.
Bottle of bourbon?
But give me fucking 5 shots of bourbon. I don't want you to buy
a couple shots on air. All right, I will bet you now that none of the 4 new teams have 9 regular season wins.
Bet.
All right.
Write it.
Noah Beanick, you're not listening right now, but please save this clip and we will play it come late November. And
5 shots on
then
one
you will
episode.
either send me a bottle of bourbon or you'll take shots on air.
Wow.
There it is.
Wow.
Colby, if you had to go on one side of that bet, what would it be?
Oh, man. I actually think one of them will be in. I don't know.
9 wins, it's doable. I mean, they're playing.
Wait. To be in the Big 12 championship, we're just getting
nine regular season wins.
No, I think one will get 9. I think we'll get 9.
I'll double down. If you want a piece of this action, you bring it on too.
Oh, let's go.
I'll take on the whole California contingent. All right.
South American contingent. You're talking to Rum Dundee over here. All right. Patty C.
Back on the clock already, huh? Well, look, I'm going to take you to a game that is a little bit of salt in the wound for the old James Madison Dukes. I'm drawing for some reason, I thought we took an L to South Alabama. They were just really good. I forgot who it was, Georgia State. All right, well, let's scratch that.
That's still awesome. You should still play it.
That's going to be a good game, but without a revenge factor there,
okay,
I'll take you to a game that is another Pac-12 game, one that I think tends to be a little more difficult for Oregon than it should be. And that is Oregon going to Stanford. You know, that hornet's nest that is Stanford Stadium.
The farm.
The farm. For whatever reason, Oregon has some trouble there. Maybe this could be yet another time that Oregon, gets the second loss of the season and finds themselves on the outside looking in what will be the final time that happens. Because once they go to 12, I feel like Oregon's really one of the teams that's going to benefit from that.
Yeah, but I can tell you this. Patty C does have a point, Nick, because I know you're about to shit on it. Oregon is just, 1-3 in their last 4 there. And I think they've only won, 3 of their last 10? So the farm can be a tricky spot. Maybe Troy Taylor's got the Cardinal playing better ball. Nick, what do you make of this one?
I just don't give a fuck about this game. Look, good stats, Patty C. I didn't know that. I didn't know Oregon struggled there as much as they do. So in that regard, I guess I see why you're playing it. I just don't care about this game. I'm not going to watch it.
Well, when there are 4 teams in all of California, these things start to get on your radar a little bit.
It's true. I mean, look, Stanford actually owns this all-time series by double digits. So interesting. This is I think it is a little sneaky. I think we do fall asleep as a society here in America. Well, I'm in South America, but yeah, it's still in America. I feel like
you're still in America. You've been in South America for like a day. All right.
I feel like the Colombians tend to forget about Oregon and Stanford playing in Palo Alto on the farm.
It's that East Coast Columbia biased.
That's right.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's played I would have played it like 3 spots further, but still, I think it deserves to be played in the top 30. All right. I'm going to take you to one. And I need to play this clip here from our boy here. You can't win. I also want to play, I don't know where the hell it is, but
I think tide turning. As I remember, I was raised in the desert, but tides kind of it's easy to see a tide turn.
Guys, I've made this point. It is easy.
Did I say those words?
It's easy to see a tide turn. All right. I did say those words on this very podcast. What if I told you that Kentucky's won 3 of the last 5 against Florida and really probably should have won 4 of the last 5 against Florida? Yes, they're on a 2-game win streak. And I'm still mad at that 2019 game where Kentucky let Florida off the hook. But yes, they've won 3 of 5. And now the Gators, who don't look very good as far as spring ball is concerned and last season's concerned, head to Lexington, where all of a sudden John Calipari will tell you that, maybe this is a football school now. Florida at Kentucky, guys. Sign me up. What do you make of this one, Nick?
It's a fun game because if you go back like a decade, like Kentucky was just a total doormat for Florida. And Kentucky fans now they really enjoy beating Florida. And Florida almost is like, man, like we don't want them to be our rival now, but they keep on losing to them. So I think this is a fun game. And I think Kentucky is probably going to win this again at home. I mean, yeah, both teams have new quarterbacks. We just saw Will Levis and AR-15 get drafted, but still, Florida's in no shape to go on the road and beat a decent team that has been a very steady program under Stoops. So, yeah, it's a fun game.
Patty C?
You're right. I mean, there was a time when it was pretty unthinkable. I mean, 31 straight wins for Florida in this series, and then they'll lose 3 out of 5. What the hell? Mark Stoops, the job he's done there can't be given enough credit. Call me crazy, but I think Kentucky gets it done yet again here.
I do too. This is going to make this fun for the future moving forward. I think Kentucky's going to beat them.
You lose to anyone 31 straight times, of course you're going to love beating them.
Yeah, very true. Very true. All right, NC Nick, it jumps back to you.
Got to play this one. Maybe I'll be at this game too. You got, former assistant Mike Bray going up against his old boss, Coach K. No, I'm joking. Both those guys are retired, and this is football. But Notre Dame at Duke. Look, it's rare that Duke gets an out-of-conference, semi-out-of-conference opponent like Notre Dame coming to their home field, especially when Duke is actually a good and we have high hopes. We got the right coach, the right quarterback, returning, over more than 75% of their production from last year. And this is a fun game because I think Duke can win. And when they win, when they beat the tar out of the Irish, I will be celebrating. So this game belongs to be played here.
Dude, I got Duke winning this too. I almost played this over Florida, Kentucky. I think Duke is the better football team right now, and I love the fact they get them right after they play Ohio State. It's a great spot for Duke.
Yeah.
And I think Duke is the better team. I thought last year, all year long, Duke was a better team than Notre Dame, and Notre Dame loses their offensive coordinator. They bring in Sam Hartman, but I think they still have a ton of question marks on their roster. And meanwhile, Duke's bringing back everybody, and no one's respecting them. I think Mike Elko could be the next head coach at Notre Dame down the line.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, he was their defensive coordinator
Duke
before.
and build something.
Elko used to be their DC, buddy.
Yeah, he's not going to be shook of the Notre Dame allure, the mystique, because he's already been there.
Nick,
He's going to be ready for this game.
Nick, you're going to the NC State game Friday. Why don't you double down and go to the Duke game Saturday?
I just said that when I was talking about the game. I said I might have to be at this game too. All right.
I know, but I'm saying
Don't dare me.
Let's see it in writing. Write it. All right. Patty,
is Nick the next what is it? College football tour?
Yes.
What's that?
Campus tour.
Yeah,
Campus tour.
that guy doesn't have kids.
Yeah, you're North Carolina campus tour.
My proximity is 20 miles.
That's right.
His is the whole country.
This is an interesting series because Duke's been all right. They beat him in 16.
Damn
so
straight.
Hey, sign me up for it. Patty C, what do you make of this matchup?
This is the kind of game that Notre Dame would be vulnerable to. They're just not that elitely talented that they're just going to blow a team like Duke off the field. And a well-coached team like Duke is going to, especially at home, I don't know. It's not like there's a huge home field advantage, but at least it's not Duke on the road at Notre Dame. I expect this to be a pretty damn good game. And if an upset happens, I wouldn't be shocked.
Patty C is on the clock. Where are you going, buddy?
Well, now I will take us to old Harrisonburg, Virginia. A place where good times happen. Wine flow. What is it? Wine flows like. Now I'm drawing a blank on the quote.
And, the salmon or what?
Capistrano, like the women of Capistrano.
Yeah, something like that.
Look, I'm going to take a shotgun, and we're going to celebrate this. But if I'm not mistaken, JMU was one of the division champs last year, even though they were denied that. And South Alabama was the other division champ. So this is what should have been.
No, Troy was.
Huh?
Troy was.
South Alabama finished second to Troy?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that takes a little bit of the trash talk out of this. But anyway, it was close to what would have been a Sun Belt championship game. It might be a preview of the Sun Belt championship game this year. And guess what? It's in fucking Harrisonburg, Virginia. So while I get this shotgun lined up, you guys talk about it.
Now, to Patty's point, this is at least two of the best three teams in the Sun Belt from last year.
Did you guys see the Sun Belt and the NCAA ruled that their JMU is not eligible again?
It's disgusting. But you know what? We're going to be eligible when the college football playoff rolls out next year. And guess what? A group of 5 team has to make it. And so what better time than our first year eligible than to make the fucking playoff?
No, I'm really excited to watch this game, though, Nick. I think this should be a weekday game. Put this on a Wednesday. But this game's awesome. It's a very good football game.
I agree.
We're going to see what happens without the quarterback position. Todd Centeio, is that just a product of, like, being at JMU and getting, like, good coaching? Or is it that it was such shitty coaching at Colorado State?
Yeah, the Adazio factor, dude.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Well, either way, I'm going to assume that JMU had something to do with that, and I'm going to take a shotgun to that.
Here we go. YouTube.com/The College Experience, folks. Hop on over and check us out live.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.
There we go. All right. It jumps over to your boy Dundee here. And
you right there, Petty C? You good?
Yeah. I had to wipe out some. It's not a perfect shotgun.
A
little sloppy.
A little sloppy. Look, I'm not in Harrisonburg anymore. Right? The Yellowbrook Road is long gone.
No offense, but you don't look like a defensive back anymore.
Yeah, well, that was 4 years at JMU did that. I was the defensive back as a freshman and sophomore. By the time I was a senior, I was, middle linebacker at best.
I'm taking you guys to Lubbock, where the Houston Cougars are taking on Texas Tech. And look, we talked about, the Big 12 championship. Well, who could be in there? I think both these teams have a shot. They got a chance. Texas Tech, I think, is flying under the radar. Joey McGuire had an unbelievable first year. And I think no one's talking about him. I think that's the way he likes it. You got the Houston Cougars that Dana Holgerson's career started in Lubbock with Mike Leach. I think this could have Big 12 championship game implications. So give me Houston at Texas Tech. What are you doing here? What do you think about this one, NC Nick?
It's another, fun new matchup. And I was surprised to see that Texas Tech win total at 7.5, because I was thinking if it was at like 6 or 6.5, I'd be slamming that over. Still might do it, but at 7.5, that tells you that Vegas thinks pretty highly of them as well. So it's a fun matchup.
Dating back to 1991, right? 1991, Texas Tech is 11-1 against Houston. Let's see if the Cougars can come up to the Big 12 and scratch the old Red Raiders. Patty C, what do you make of this one?
Well, I'm just curious of what you guys think of Dana Holgerson. He was 61-41 at West Virginia in 7 years there, and he has kind of improved Houston 4-8, 3-5, 12-2, and then 8-5, a slight step back, but still a pretty damn good team over the last 2 years at Houston. Is he a consistent, once he's gotten his program going, like at least 7-win kind of coach, or do we expect him to go back to being a losing coach in the Big 12?
I think he's kind of like a subpar. I think he's like 7-5. His first record at Houston was terrible because he sat everybody. Remember that?
Yeah.
He sat everybody and redshirted him in year one. So of course you're going to look better in year two. And then so on. But I think he's all right. I think he's solid. And I'm more excited about Joey McGuire at Texas Tech, though, because I think he might be a sneaky, really good hire.
Joey McGuire's no, I want to pull that up. He's had 1 year as a head coach, 8-5. Obviously, I don't know what Texas Tech was the year before. Not that good.
Not good. Yeah.
A much smaller sample size. Whereas I feel like Dana Holgerson's a little bit of a proven commodity to be between a 7 to 9 win team, a coach on most years. I think we need to give Holgerson some respect.
Nah, they were in the ACC.
Yeah, I think Holgerson's going to sell you a nice LeBaron, but if you're not in the market for a used car, honestly, like I was very down on Holgerson before 2 years ago, and then he actually put together a very nice campaign 2 years ago and followed up with a decent season last year. I want to see him back in the Big 12, though. I'm not the biggest Holgerson fan.
We'll see. We shall see.
NC Nick, you are on the clock.
Well, I think you just mentioned Mike Leach, and this game would have been top 5 if Mike Leach was still in Stark Vegas, but it's still an interesting game because of the question marks that you mentioned surrounding Alabama. Alabama at Mississippi State. Let's do it.
All right. Hail State. Coach Leach, this is the one they're going to get, right? This is the one they're going to get.
I hope so.
Oh, that'd be great. A salute to Leach.
Yeah, salute to Leach here. Look, I know Alabama's beat the shit out of them lately, but they are in a little rebuild, and if they're just going out there getting Tyler Buckner, I'm concerned. I'll put it like
right,
that.
Right.
So maybe there's some magic in Stark Vegas, baby. Patty C, what do you make of Alabama, Mississippi State?
Well, I don't know much about Zach Arnett. So, I mean, what's his coaching? Has he been
Rocky
on?
Long guy. Rocky Long, 335, defensive coordinator under Leach at Mississippi State.
Good pedigree.
Yeah.
Did their offensive coordinator keep continuity with the Mike Leach air raids? No?
Arnett wanted to get rid of the air raid. They are now going – they hired App State's OC.
Well, that's not much of a tribute to Mike Leach, and on that alone, just transitioning out of an extreme system into any other system, particularly early in the season, against a team like Alabama, this is going to be an absolute shellacking. But Mississippi State does have some talents, and maybe they catch them. But and Alabama, you're right. The Tyler Buckner thing is like Tyler Buckner was in a quarterback battle with who last year? Drew Pine, right? Yeah. You're going from like Alabama was great under Saban when they relied on the running game and had if they had a good quarterback, then they were great, right? If they had a mediocre quarterback, then they were still very good. But they've gotten more toward the passing side of things, and so they're kind of reliant on having a good quarterback. They might not have that this year. So maybe Mississippi State is in position to get this done.
Dogs are barking. Dogs are barking in the background. Give me Hail State.
It's a sign.
It's done. It is an omen. Let's go, Coach Leach. Rest easy, my friend. All right, Patty C, it jumps to you.
Well, look, there's no history here. There may be more history than I'm aware of, but I'm pretty sure there's no history here. But even still, we have two teams that have been pretty damn good for a while now. This is Baylor going to Orlando.
The moon bounce, baby.
That's right. We'll see. Sometimes it is not all about tradition. Sometimes we got to like something old, something new, right? Something red, something blue. It's a wedding. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But here we have two teams that we're not used to seeing playing each other.
They have played once before in 2014 in a big-time bowl game, where UCF won 52-42. George O'Leary
shootout. Yeah. I'm curious who you guys think is the favorite here.
I would say it's probably going to be UCF. Nick, what do you think?
It's a good question. I had this game played right here as well because, like Patty said, I like some of these new games, and we say that conference realignment kills some, great rivalries, but also brings new matchups, and new matchups are fun. This is one of them. So Central Golden Knights -2.5. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, something like that. I'll take Baylor to get it done and shut down that cha-cha-cha offense.
I think I agree.
But
give me John Rice Plumlee all day. He's on my handsome quarterback list.
So if I'm counting here, Colby is kind of down on Central Florida, on Cincinnati, and on Houston, which means he's really banking on BYU hitting a 9-3 regular season record in order to cash that bet.
I still think UCF can win 9 games, but I think Dave Aranda puts the kibosh on this little bullshit.
Okay. All right.
Out of curiosity, I do want to see UCF's non-conference slate.
They got a game at Boise. They got a game at Boise on the Smurf turf.
Boise.
Yeah.
All right. Kent State at Boise and Villanova. They could go 3-0.
They could, but they won't. It's my choice here and my selection, and I am taking you to. I'm a sucker for this matchup. Taking you to Colorado Springs. San Diego State at Air Force, baby. Look, San Diego State, if you really want to start talking P5, you got to start dominating Air Force. Which, I think they actually have a decent track record against, but still, you got to be able to handle the Falcons here. I think Air Force got them the last time they played. So, look, this could be, remember, no more divisions in the Mountain West. These are two teams battling for championship here, and Air Force leads this all-time series 20-18, including a 13-3 win at the Snapper a year ago. Last time they played in Colorado Springs, San Diego State won by 6. Actually, if you look at this, These games have been super close. I think out of the last 10 matchups, 9 of them have been by, or 8 of them have been by a score or less. Nick, what do you make of the Falcons taking on the Aztecs?
It's a good Mountain West game. Will I watch much of it? I don't know. I mean, we're only about halfway through this list, and we're an hour 45 minutes in, so we probably got to speed this up a tad. But it's a decent game. I just don't know how good the Aztecs are going to be, so I just find it kind of average.
Pat?
Well, I'll keep it short then, too. Without the Rocky Long influence with Brady Hoke, this game becomes a little less compelling. I don't know. Still 2 elite Mountain West football teams. Worth watching.
NC Nick, you are on the clock.
All right, guys, let me take you to the ACC. Back to my conference. Don't beat me up too much, but Pitt at Virginia Tech is still a fun football game because
there's a lot of grit.
There is, exactly. And I don't know how good Virginia Tech's going to be. It's a huge year. That's fair. That's fair. I don't know how good Virginia Tech's going to be, but Pitt's going to be solid. So I think it's a fun ACC matchup, and it is 2 teams that should kind of hate each other because they're kind of similar in certain ways. So there you go.
It should be a weekday game too, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Look, they're 11-11 all time against one another.
There you go.
But Pitt's won 3 straight, and that's just a sign of the times. And including,
there you go.
I want to say, Abanawanakanda rushed for like 300 last time they played last year when Virginia Tech got destroyed.
I think you pronounce it my anaconda.
Yeah, some shit like that. But how about this? I mean, yeah, they've lost 4 of 5 against Pitt.
Let me tell you this. The people in Blacksburg, Virginia, and the people in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania are more close in terms of appearance than probably any 2 places in the country. The number of push broom mustaches, immaculate push broom mustaches that you see in both of these locations, whether it be Bud Foster, Mike Ditka, Dave Wanstadt, Bill Cowher, what have you. You're going to get a tough-ass game of football, and these 2 brands are great against each other.
That's true, and you're no stranger to riding a mustache.
Flavor, savor, whatever.
All right. I mean, I think it's a decent game. It deserves to be top 30. Patty C, you're on the clock.
I feel like this game, in most years, it's criminal that it's number 21 on the list. It's, even though neither of these teams, Iowa has been very consistent, and they are Iowa of norm, but Michigan State having a bad year makes this a little lower on the list. Still, these are 2 great programs, and they play a tough style, a fun style of football. Michigan at Iowa State.
Woo-hoo. No,
Colby.
not Iowa State.
Or at Iowa.
Colby, over under the new Michigan State quarterback, 2.5 interceptions.
Oh, give me the over all day. You guys remember what happened? So, this is at Iowa, correct?
Yeah.
The last time they played at Iowa with Mel Tucker in year 1, Iowa scored 49 points on Mel Tucker.
Colby,
49
over under pick 6 is 1.5.
Oh, I'm on the over, man.
You can't go over 1.5 pick 6s. You can't make that bet.
Oh, give me that plus 800. Give me that plus 800. How about this? I mean, I feel like Iowa City has been a tough place. Well, they got one in 2013, but besides that, they've had their struggle. Wow, they've gotten dominated in Iowa City. Holy shit! You go back since 1990. I think they've only won in Iowa City twice since 1990.
Wow. Well, that's the perfect matchup because Iowa has similar enough talent to Michigan State, and the home advantage is so much in Iowa's favor here that that's kind of what you'd expect. Tight, close, low-scoring football games, and Iowa getting the edge based on the home field advantage.
Guys, I'm in a betting mood. Colby, even odds, okay? Over, under, pick 6 is 1. Will you bet me with even odds?
No, you got to set me at a half, and
It
I
can't be 6. It's got to be defensive touchdowns because there can be some chips.
Fair enough.
Oh.
Okay.
Sign me up. Or defensive scores, because that counts for a safety.
Okay.
One.
I'll go that far too.
Oh,
Over under 1. You're gonna go over.
Over all day.
All right. This
I'm
is our
tempted
second
to take that
Patty
action.
C, you want a piece of that action too?
Because at worst, you're going to push. You know?
Yeah.
You're probably right. It's probably going to be a push, but just statistically speaking, I'll take the under.
Does a blocked punt count as a defensive touchdown?
If they score on a block punt or a block field goal, yes. If it's
You'll
just
give
a
us
block,
that?
if it's just a
Oh.
block and they don't score, doesn't count.
Hammer the over.
Hammer the over. Hammer the over there.
All right. I'll take some more action from you guys.
Let's go. All right, folks. Look, I want to tell you before we get to our next pick, I want to tell you that the college football experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Yes, Underdog Fantasy is giving away $15 million in prizes as part of their Best Ball Mania. So hop on over there. Plus, they got plenty of ways to win with the NBA, NHL, and MLB player prop parlays. Head over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use that promo code SGPN for a 100% deposit bonus up to $100. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. All right. We are back, and that puts myself back on the clock. Boom. Well, you guys are getting cute. There's a game, and there's a stadium. We were talking about campus tour, college football campus tour, guy. Well, he's a big fan of the Liberty Bowl, and so am I, all right? Boise State at Memphis. The Liberty Bowl needs to be one of our playoff locations. I've said this for a long time, too. Sun Bowl and Liberty Bowl are way better than those filthy fucking stadiums in Atlanta.
Well, what makes the Liberty Bowl special? Just the fact that it's old. The fucking
look of it. The
Look,
look
name.
It's like a sombrero. Yeah.
The history, the look, the name.
Yeah.
What more do you want, Patty C?
The look, is it that special? Like
yes.
the big looping sides on either side.
Yeah.
It's classic.
It's cool.
Classic.
All right. I'll take your word for it. Look,
Shut your pie hole.
I like a classic stadium, but I am genuinely like, I'm not some fucking, just because it's old means it's great.
Just go with the flow, buddy. Okay, don't ruffle any feathers over there. All right,
I'm gonna drink this beer, and I'll take your word. I do enjoy the Liberty Bowl. Good venue.
From a look of it, it just looks cool. There's not many stadiums that look cool anymore. They all look the same.
You're right. The sombrero, the old sombrero in Tampa.
Yeah.
Similar look.
These teams have never played, guys, but they've been very successful group of fives, and some would argue that they could be the next teams in the Big 12 or the Pac-12. So, what do you make of this one, Nick? Boise State.
I love the play. I had this going next also. If you wouldn't have mentioned those teams, I would have. So it's a fun game. Both schools are cool, and both schools could be making a jump up soon. It's a big game.
Patty C, Boise State, Memphis. Besides your reluctancy to appreciate classic stadiums.
Well, obviously the Smurf Turf's great. I guess you guys are right, and I've always appreciated the Liberty Bowl too. Maybe there is something to this being a budding rivalry if they are the next two teams added to the Big 12, which, like you said, I think they would probably be next on the radar after what?
San Diego State and SMU?
Yeah, San Diego State and SMU, at which point they'd be at 16. But either way, cool teams and competitive game, especially in Memphis. I would give Boise the edge if it was in Boise, but in Memphis.
I'm going to give them the edge in Memphis too.
I agree.
Silvercock not getting it done. All right.
Yeah, but anyway. NC Nick?
Well, so far we've mentioned 3 weekday games, but those 3 games were all on Friday. So how about some love for Thursday and probably the best game of the bunch? Middle Tennessee State, Rick Stockstill against the Hilltoppers, who have really come on of late. I think this is a fun matchup here. Give me the Thursday night game between these two CUSA opponents.
Oh, I mean, the 100 miles of hate. These teams have been playing for a long time. They don't like each other, and it's prime time Thursday night. I know I'm not going to be watching the NFL.
Fuck the NFL.
Yeah, Middle Tennessee, Western Kentucky. Patty C, I know you probably will hate on it, but what do you make of it?
No, this was the game that I pointed out last year. I want to say Middle Tennessee was playing FIU or FAU, and God, now I'm drawing a blank.
On rivalry week, and they
and Western Kentucky was playing FAU, right? And so why are the two teams in Florida that are like 20 miles apart not playing each other? And why are the two teams in that section of the country that are 100 miles apart not playing each other? This should be the rivalry weekend game. This is a cool little regional matchup. Middle Tennessee.
And they've been playing this since 1914. And get this, the all-time series, Western Kentucky has a 1-game lead.
Wow, beautiful.
This should be on national TV every year. They should put
Who's the head coach at Western Kentucky?
It is
Helton.
Clay Helton's brother.
Clay Helton and Rick Stosto.
Yeah.
Two kind of cool coaches, too.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
All right, Patty C, it jumps over to you.
Oh, let's take a gander here. I'm almost tempted to go into FCS country here, but I want to save that play for a little later. Look, we're going to play two teams that were just quality football teams, and they are in relatively close proximity to each other. We're talking about Illinois and Purdue, right? We're talking about Brett Bielema and who took over Purdue? Now I'm getting all kinds of terms over.
Ryan Walters, the defensive coordinator from Illinois.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's a nice little angle.
There you go. That's one I just stumbled into there because I'm a little tipsy here. But yeah, just talk about a physical brand of football in the Midwest that we're going to see in this game. Illinois at Purdue.
I like it. And look, Illinois, I think is going to be fine. The question is how fast can Purdue be back going? And I can tell you, getting Hudson Card, Graham Harrell's offense, maybe they'll be all right. This is a series, by the way, that Purdue leads the all-time series by 2, but it's a rivalry that goes back to 1890, where Purdue won the opening matchup 62-0. Holy shit. But yeah, of late, it's kind of been Purdue. They've won actually 6 of 7. Whew. 6 of 7 against the Fighting Illini. Can Bielema get him over the hump is the question. Nick, what do you make of it?
Well, first shout out to D Bettis in this bitch. Welcome to our Friday night Cinco de Mayo party. That's exactly what it is. We've officially hit the point where we're trying to put lipstick on a pig. I don't think anybody really cares that much about Illini at Purdue, but it is a solid game for everything that you guys just mentioned. And it should be played in this range.
Big Ten West hater. That's NC Nick. Big Ten West hater.
One more year.
What's that?
I said for one more year.
Nick sounds like a politician. 1 more year. 1 more year.
No new taxes.
What were you going to say, Betty C?
I want to ask how many great rivalries have come out of a coordinator leaving and going to a rival. You know, the first one that comes to mind, I don't know if Darryl Royal was the head coach at Texas and lost his coordinator to Oklahoma. I forget how that played out. But
Georgia versus Alabama, Ole Miss versus Alabama.
Yeah. Schembechler used to be at Ohio State.
Right? I don't think this one's going to be on that level, but Purdue, Illinois could have a little bit of flavor that it didn't have before.
All right.
Familiarity breeds contempt.
UVA versus Clemson.
All right, your boy Dundee is on the clock. And I see a game that's going to be disgusting. All right? But I think there might be a lot of scoring. And that is why it's disgusting. But it might have some stakes on the line here, as people are saying Washington's a top 5 team. Washington's heading to Tucson, where 2 quarterbacks can fire the laser. You got Jaden DeLara and the Arizona Wildcat offense. It seems to be improving every year, their team, yet alone their offense. And then Michael Penix and the Washington Huskies. Give me Washington at Arizona in the desert, late at night, Pac-12 after dark. Nick, talk to me.
I do agree that Arizona under Fish is getting better incrementally. I'm not sure if they're ready to win this game, but I think it is a little bit of a tricky spot for Washington. Tell me who Washington has before this. Can anybody real quick?
Is
it or what do they have next? Is it a look ahead? Is it a letdown spot? Sell me a little bit on this game because at the surface,
Washington has to go on back-to-back roads at UCLA and at Arizona State, and then follows this game with a road trip to California. Oh wait, that was last year.
So Washington has a bye after this.
No, that was last year. That was last year.
Before this game, they're at home against Cal. Cal gets some troubles.
No. Right? That was last year he was quoting.
Yeah. No, he's right.
I'm telling you what it is.
Okay.
Listen to me. Don't listen to Patty. It'll take you far in life. Okay?
I'll tell you this. This game back in 1998, one of the best college football games I've ever seen in my life. So
was that Ortega Jenkins or was it
Ortiz Jenkins?
Ortiz Jenkins. I don't know, his first name was like a brand of salsa.
That play was one of the best plays we've ever seen.
Meant to play in Arizona.
And look, I think Arizona is they made a big jump in year 2 of Fish. So if they want to go to a bowl game, this is a huge game. And then obviously if Washington wants to win the Pac-12, this is a huge game. And I expect this is going to be like 52-48. You know what I mean? Like this game's going to be crazy. So that's my play. Patty C, what do you make of it?
6-game winning streak for Washington here. I do feel like I don't know what it is, but I always notice the desert teams down in Arizona versus those fucking Washington teams, whether it be Washington or Washington State, when the team that's on the road has a little bit of a hard time. So I do think that this game is compelling, especially because Arizona is better. And I think Washington's overrated. But could Arizona pull the upset? Possibly. But you got to favor Washington here, right?
Yeah. NC Nick is on the clock.
All right, this game could be fun or it could be a total blowout. And maybe that's why it's interesting. Tulane won, 12 games last year? Tulane finished the season beating USC, UCF, and Cincinnati. That is now 3 Power 5 opponents. And they host UAB, who is a total fucking mystery under Trent Dilfer. So UAB's been a very solid football program for years now. I think UAB at Tulane is a fun regional matchup.
All right. Let's look at a little bit of history here. UAB leads the all-time series 6-5.
There you go.
So there's that. And you look back, actually, UAB's won the last 2. They have been 1-score games though. And Willie Fritz looking to take Tulane to the next level. This is a fun game. I don't know what the hell to expect. UAB is the biggest mystery team in America this year. Because I have no idea what to expect. This might be a 50-point win. Should be a weekday game. Patty C, what do you make of UAB at Tulane?
Real quick, Tulane was 12-2 last year?
Yeah.
Do we know UAB's final record off the top of our head?
They were bowling, but I don't remember.
I feel like they were pretty good. I think in terms of just quality of play, it's a good game. In terms of regionality, it's a good game. I'll be watching. The most handsome man in college football is playing.
Say no more.
Yeah.
It's a good game. Good game. All right, Patty C.
Well, we're really getting down to slim pickings, and yet I have 2 more picks that I have to make. So let's just go with quality of matchup here. You know what? Actually, I'll go to a game that has provided some fireworks in the past, especially given the location. We're going to Syracuse, New York, where the Orange men will host the Orange guys in Clemson. Clemson at Syracuse. There was an upset at some point in this series.
There was. And Clemson should have lost to them last year. Remember, they let them off the hook. Syracuse let them off the hook. Clemson does own this series 9-2. 9-2. How have they only played that little? I understand the ACC is new, but you would think just because they're somewhere around there. How about this, though? Clemson has won 5 straight. So that upset you saw happen was in 2017 in the Carrier Dome by
Dundee.
Yes. And look, man, you're right, though, on this. The last time they played in Syracuse, back in 2021, Syracuse missed a field goal to send the game to overtime.
That's right. I remember that game.
Last year at Clemson, the Qs lost by 6 in a game they were up almost the entire game. And then the other 2 matchups out of those 5 were blowouts.
No Tucker, no Is Shredder back?
He's back.
Shredder's back. Will he be as good without Robert and I as his offensive coordinator? We don't know, but for Dino Babers, that's a nice dude. How many years of how many starts do you think Shredder has under his belt? At least 2 years worth of it.
Yeah, he does have a lot.
Babers
gone. Sean Tucker's gone. Is Gadsden? He's still there.
Rhonda Gadsden Jr. He's a beast.
Bebop, we called him, right? He was Bebop.
He's Bebop.
Shout out to GBO Farms, who says he wanted to debut Patty C's new nickname, Patty Melt.
Oh,
well, he's pretty hot. Patty C's pretty hot, so Patty Melt might work out.
Hello.
Hot with picking winners. All right. All right. And
Patty Sizzle, though. I don't know, man. Patty Sizzle is.
Whoa.
What do you think, Patty?
Sizzle.
Would you rather be Patty Sizzle or Patty Melt?
Patty Melt's a little more erotic, but P Sizzle's, kind of fun. I don't know. Depends on your mood.
All right.
NC Nick, where are you taking us here?
Oh, geez. All right, we're at the bottom of the barrel, aren't we?
Yes.
Last pick besides the FCS and the what the fuck game of the week.
All right, well, let me take you to one of the other Thursday night games, the one ESPN wasn't covering. If ESPN isn't covering it, I want to cover it, and that's Jacksonville State, Sam Houston, the 2 new teams to the FBS. Look, it's a battle of the newbies.
Are they the only newbies?
What's more fun than that?
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, there's an angle. There is an angle there.
I like it. I like it, buddy. Good play. And have they played? Let's see. Patty C, what do you make of this one?
Well, Sam Houston State obviously seared into my memory after their fucking absolute miracle comeback against JMU a few years back en route to their national championship. Meanwhile, Jacksonville State, Rich Rodriguez, who is near and dear to my heart. Yeah, there's a lot to be watched in this game. It's a kind of fun game.
And how about this? Sam Houston State has a 1-game lead, 6-5 against Jacksonville State. Sam Houston State beat the hell out of them in 2021, 42-7. But if you go back and look at the game prior in Jacksonville, Alabama, Jackson State won 62-10. We've seen some blowouts from both of these squads, but yeah, I like it. Good play. Good play, Nick. This is a good one. All right, Patty C, it goes back to you, buddy. Oh no, wait. Yeah. Did I play one?
I think you were supposed to have played there.
Yeah, I was supposed to. I did. Okay. So let's go to the game that you guys are all shitting on. All right. I want a piece of this Big 12. All right. You guys are just going to leave this out there?
Yeah, obvious pick here.
West Virginia, TCU. This was a game last year. Remember? This was a brutal beat if you bet this game. This was an absolutely brutal beat because on 4th and 1, Sonny Dykes throws like a 60-yard touchdown pass up 3. Right. So they've been playing this game since 1984. All right. 1984. And look, the series, I think 7-5 in West Virginia's favor. And look, before last year, West Virginia had won 4 straight. So I think it's a big one. Let's go. Give me West Virginia at TCU. Patty C, your thoughts.
Well, what gets lost in this equation is these are the 2 most recent additions to the Big 12. I think TCU has outshined West Virginia clearly, despite a couple good years from West Virginia out the top with Holgerson. But West Virginia probably a little bit salty. They got to go down to Dallas. It's high in the mountains, Mountaineers versus the big city slickers down in Dallas, Fort Worth. I don't know. We're trying to create angles here. what we're really seeing is two decent football teams playing against each other. So it should be entertaining.
There you go.
Nick, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, that's all you can say is that, you have the national championship runner-up against a decent football team, and we're getting towards the end of this list of 30, and it needs to be played here because it's a solid game.
Patty C with the last pick in the draft before we go to the FCS.
Well, I really feel like we're in the fucking nubbins down here, so that's at least a good thing that I just have to pick some bullshit here. But
Give me Utah State at UConn. Tell me you're picking Utah State at UConn.
That belongs in the what the fuck game of the week category.
Ah, come on.
Two bowl teams. What are you talking about?
Right? I almost played that last round, but sorry. Go ahead, Patty C.
Hawaii UNLV is tempting because they both should be in the Pac-12, let's be honest. But that's not going to make the list. Look, I'm going with a game that I'm going to be watching. Fuck. I can, as a fan of this team, I'm barely going to be watching this game. We're going to Chestnut Hill. Virginia plays Boston College. That just shows you how much in the weeds we are as far as terrible games. It's tough, man. Like what? Wait, Boston College's coach.
Jeff
Hafley versus Tony Elliott.
Hot seat.
Yeah,
this is a hot seat game.
Yeah. There you go. One of these coaches could get fired for this look.
This game sucks ass. All right?
Yes,
I'd much rather watch Utah State at UConn.
Oh, dude, I'd rather watch Louisiana, Minnesota. I'd rather watch Coastal Carolina, Georgia Southern. I'd rather watch Arizona State, Cal. I'd rather watch pretty much every game on the slate.
Well, Colby, you'd rather watch Colorado get their ass whooped by USC. In fact, I want to say it was your fucking second play of the week.
I picked that game.
Oh, that was you, Nick. Okay. Well, either way, I'm surprised it wasn't higher because Colby should have put it at number 1. Look, we all like to watch our favorite team play, and Virginia needs to be able to beat Boston College. Whatever, this game sucks.
Can't wait for the Golden Eagles to get that one.
Shout out to Mafia Will Reunite, who finally made it live, even though there's only a couple minutes left of the show. But cheers, brother.
Yeah.
You know what, Mafia? I'm going to fucking crack another one for you. Cheers to you.
Just for you, Mafia. Just for the Mafia.
Yeah,
we're all pro Mafia guys over here.
Yeah, very pro. But yeah, exactly. All right, let's get to our FCS game of the week. It goes to old Pick Dundee here. For my top FCS game of the week, guys, well, there's a lot on the board that is appealing to me. This is a good week for the FCS. But there's one, I became a diehard fan of a school with Matthew Saluka at quarterback. So when I see a little crosstown battle between Harvard, who's located in Boston, and Holy Cross, who's located in Boston.
That's the obvious pick. You stole that one from me.
Oh, man. Dude, Holy Cross is a fucking dynasty right now. All right. They've won I feel like 23 games in 2 years. All right. And they almost knocked off the Jackrabbits. They had them on the ropes for a little bit of that game in the FCS playoffs a year ago. I'm all over this one. Harvard at Holy Cross. Northeast football's back. I'm buying in. Holy Cross plays, I think, Boston College this year. I talked about that. Remember, Holy Cross has beaten two FBS schools in a row, back-to-back years, UConn and Buffalo. Watch out for the Crusaders. Nick, what do you make of Harvard at Holy Cross?
I'm not the biggest fan of Northeast football, so this got snooze fest written all over it.
Oh, come on.
Not a fan.
The real battle of Boston. Patty C plays Boston College. I stay in the Boston area and go Harvard and Holy Cross. Here's the question. Should the ACC add Harvard and Holy Cross? Holy Cross, honestly, is better than half the ACC. Let's be honest. Not half, but 4. I would put Holy Cross minus 6 against Virginia right now.
Holy Cross minus 6 against Virginia. It's fair. Depending on where it's being played, I think that might be a fair line. Sad state of affairs in Charlottesville. Look, Harvard, presumably one of the most secular schools in the nation. Holy Cross, probably I don't know. Holy Cross Crusaders, are they more Catholic than Notre Dame Fighting Irish? Am I sinning for even questioning that? I don't know, but Holy Cross Crusaders pretty epic. There's something super fun about this game. There's something excellent about it. I'm rooting for the Crusaders, obviously, but two epic programs here going at it in Boston. Northeast football is back. Did you guys see that? I forget what coach was, but they're saying there's like a lot of nice recruits coming out of the Northeast.
Yeah, I think it was an SEC coach that said that too.
Northeast football is back.
This is a rivalry that goes back over 100 years, guys. I believe 1890s, I think. All right, NC Nick, what's the hate on? Let's see where he goes.
Yeah, much better game for you. You know, FCS football is not about the Northeast. It's about the Dakotas. And I will take you to North Dakota at reigning champion South Dakota State. This is a football game. This is FCS football. Let's go.
Ami Schuster in year, 3 or 4, starting with the Fighting Hawks, heading into Brookings, South Dakota. Remember Tommy Schuster?
New head coach for the Jackrabbits.
Yeah. So can you protect the dynasty that they're building? We'll see. Patty C, what do you make of North Dakota at South Dakota State?
Well, North Dakota, I feel like, had some good years, but they're kind of a middling Missouri Valley Conference team, whereas South Dakota State obviously probably should have won a couple championships recently. Do we really think this is going to be a game in Brookings? But you're right. The Dakotas are the epicenter of FCS football, so you really don't have to reach to select this game as one of the must-watch games of the week.
And I believe that this game was – oh, no, that was South Dakota, I think. That was the Hail Mary 2 years ago against I think – okay, so, yeah, still a good game. Yeah, I think that was South Dakota that played. Anyway, it is a good game. I'm excited to see this. I know these teams have been playing fucking forever, so we love that here on the College Football Experience. Patty C with the final FCS game of the week.
Well, I'm just going off of one that I'm not. I feel like Elon has had some decent success lately. And William and Mary being very much in my family. Mike Lund,
Solid. Sorry.
Solid. Yeah. Both teams solid. Mike London, once again, turning around an FCS program. He already won a national championship with Richmond. Can he get it done at a second Virginia school at William and Mary? He is trending in that direction. This is a tough road trip. Go Tribe. Go Indians, you might even say. Go William and Mary.
This was a great game a season ago, if memory serves me correct. Actually, no, I think I'm thinking of Richmond. But anyway, William and Mary at Elad, CAA Classic right there. You find this on Flow Sports. Good luck if you're not at God's Eye, but it is a good game. I think both these teams will probably be in the FCS playoffs next year. So let's fucking go.
Well, let me double check that for 1 second while I get this pulled up. Elon last year sitting at 8-4. William and Mary last year sitting at, looks like they didn't play each other. Oh no, they did. William and Mary won this game 35-31 last year. William and Mary finished 11-2. Two good football teams. Might be worth watching.
And look, Elon had won 3 straight before last year when Mike London got it done. Oh, no, Elon won last year. So before that, Mike London had won 3 straight. So shout out to that.
Wow.
All
so
right.
Elon was one of William and Mary's 2 losses last year.
Yeah, buddy.
Hello.
Let's go. Now we play our before we get out of here, we get our what the fuck game of the week here. And I get the honor of starting things off with our friend Lou Holtz.
Well, I don't get they bring the head cold, but they're counting down 7-6-5.
This is our what the fuck game of the week, where it should not be on the schedule, shouldn't really ever happen. And I'm taking you to Indiana at Maryland. No, I'm joking. That is pretty bad, though. No, it's the one we talked about earlier. There's the elephant in the room here. It's Wagner at Rutgers. I understand it's Northeast football, but come on. Wagner's the worst FCS school last year. Rutgers needs a cheap win, and they schedule this because they're afraid. If they had real cojones, they'd schedule Holy Cross. All right. They'd
Like
schedule.
Boston College does.
Yes. Rutgers going for the cheap win. What do you make of this one, Nick?
It's awful. Totally agree. We're week 5 now. We should not have any FCS versus FBS in week 5.
Yeah, I agree. That needs to be met. When Pick Dundee's commissioner, we're going to put that ruling in. No FCS games past January. And by the way, they've played one time back in 2022, and Rutgers won 66-7.
Past September, right? Well, actually, this would still be September. But
doesn't matter. Week 5, no, that's illegal. Patty C, what do you make of Wagner, Rutgers, Northeast football back?
Where is Wagner? Wagner's in
Long Island, right?
Long Island.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about a pretty big flex if Wagner gets this done over Rutgers. But obviously 2 completely snooze-fast teams. And the fact that Rutgers has a super easy win over anyone is a disgrace to college football. So, yeah, this belongs number 1 on the list.
So it's actually Staten Island.
Well, Wu-Tang.
Not
right?
Long Island. So
isn't that where Wu-Tang's from?
I think so.
Staten Island.
There you go. Maybe they can get Raekwon on the run of the gun, head of the gun. You know,
at least on the halftime show.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, probably more talented than half there.
Well, I don't get rain man cold, but
NC
they're counting down 7-6-5.
NC Nick, you're on the clock with the what the fuck game of the week.
Well, if we're not allowing FCS versus FBS, then we got to talk about Utah Tech at Colorado State. Even though I want my Rams to get a cheap W, come on.
Yeah, at least it's Utah at Colorado, but yeah, Utah Tech.
Well, New York, New Jersey. That's the same thing that we just talked about.
True.
What a battle.
Yeah, but I mean, Rutgers is a Power 5. I can understand it, but yeah, I agree.
True.
It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen this far into the season. It just shouldn't.
Yep.
Utah Tech was 4-7 a season ago, and one of their wins was against Chadron State. Shout out to Don Beebe.
Who's that running back that was on the Woodhead?
Danny Woodhead. Yes,
Danny Woodhead's from Chadron State. Yeah,
there you go.
That's
they did.
cool.
How about this though? Utah Tech almost beat Sam Houston last year. 18-13 they lost. Maybe they got some magic in them. No, they'll probably get destroyed. That game sucks. Patty C, what do you make of Utah Tech at Colorado State?
I mean, aside from the border battle and Utah Tech not being Dixie State anymore because apparently that they're a woke school that, I mean, I don't know. Did Dixie State have anything to do with Dixie? Was Utah even a state?
Now we're going off the rails. Let's keep it on football.
I mean,
Patty C's had one too many Modelo's.
I get so sick and tired.
Pacific O's or Dos Equis or whatever he's drinking down there.
Facts.
Presidentes.
Okay. Can we move it on?
Yeah, it's on you, buddy. Hang on.
Well, I don't get rain man cold, but they're counting down 7-6-5.
Patty C's what the fuck game of the week. Where you going?
It wouldn't be a what the fuck game of the week section without UMass being involved. The regional battle that is Arkansas State at UMass. Why? Why is UMass having such a hard time playing a regional game? I don't fucking get it. Are they getting shit tons of money for playing these teams out in bumfuck? Who knows? But why is this game on?
Jonesboro and Boston, you know. I know Amherst isn't Boston, but close enough.
Similar vibes.
Well, wait. Where is Al Gore from? Is he perhaps from Massachusetts, or maybe we can get a little Gore Clinton? He did go to Harvard. I googled right now. He did go to Harvard.
Al Gore
interesting angle. We might have to workshop this.
We got the Gore Clinton Bowl. Sign me up. Let's go. And yeah, folks, this is the College Football Experience. Appreciate you tuning in. Subscribe to the College Football Experience on Spotify and iTunes, and please hop on over there. Give us a 5-star review. Shout out to the chat who was rocking. We got the season coming. I'll be back from South America in a couple weeks, and we'll have another episode dropping next week. and maybe some other fun stuff during the week to talk about, but we will have you covered on the College Football Experience. Remember, early June team previews for all 133 teams. We got you covered on the College Football Experience, so subscribe. Tell a friend. Give Patty C a follow on Twitter at PattyC831. Give NC Nick a follow on Twitter at NC__NICK. Give myself a follow on Twitter at the Colby D, and the College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Until next week, folks, this is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.